Yeehaw.
You're in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, a Wednesday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels, heading up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you. Number of things to get into today and talk about. We'll talk some NFL football with the Kansas City Chiefs. They will talk today later on in the show about 11:45. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. We'll see who else is going to be at the podium today. We will talk with Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert, at 11 o'clock today. Get her thoughts on this Chiefs team, what the Sunday from 3:30 to 10:45 did for the Chiefs and the number one seed, the up-tempo offense, if there's any correlation to success when teams go a little bit more up-tempo. Is it just anecdotal? We'll talk with her about that and many, many other things as well. We'll hang out with Mick Schaefer today in the 1 o'clock hour, and we will hang out with Mick Schaefer where we are located today. Be a fundraiser, one of, if not our most favorite remotes that we do once a year. We get to come out here and hang out. ADA fundraising. Did I let people know that in the are we going to call that the first segment? The first segment is already wrapped up, right?
It's the pre-segment.
First segment was done.
It's the pre-segment.
It was a little premature, is what it was. We started and then boom, we were done.
We got excited. We had
was very quick. I apologize for that. That's never happened before. It's not that common, and it is a big deal. That's a Friends reference.
It's even better that the song I was referencing was called "Sex Machine" by James Brown. That's even better.
Go. Yeah, it's absolutely. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the show here. I'm not sure where your mind went, but that's fine. Yeah. Dylan, did we get a chance to let people know where we were in our first segment?
Not a whole lot, but I did cross it off the list here. I crossed off ADA fundraising here, so first segment is crossed off. We're good.
We're here at AD. You know what? I'm sorry if everybody's listening on Netflix right now, so I apologize for that. Hopefully, it's better come a week from Wednesday.
Well, we don't have Mike Tyson's ass just in our face. We got that going for us, which is nice.
It is very nice, actually. Not that. It's nice to not have to do that. But we are here at ADA Fundraising. Like I said in the first segment, I don't know that I could recreate how eloquent I was with my words. And typically, I don't nail it the way that I did there. And then I look down and we're not connected. So I'll try to recreate this and piece it together a little bit at a time. But we're here at ADA Fundraising. It is one of our favorite remotes that we do because we're out here once a year. They open up their doors once a year for you to come out here and check out all of these great sports memorabilia, collectibles, autographs, photos, framed pictures, jerseys, bats, footballs, helmets, mini helmets, anything cards, seats at Arrowhead Stadium, anything you can think of, they've got it out here, and they have it for you. And it's at ADA Fundraising, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside. It's the one time a year that they open up their doors. You know, Eminem said you only get one shot and one opportunity. Well, this is yours today, tomorrow, on into the weekend. I believe Curtis will be here tomorrow. Stephen St. John will be out here on Friday. So we'll have you covered over these next 3 days. But, hey, you know, you come out here today, say hi to Sterling. He'll shake your hand, wave to you, give you the old fraternity symbol that he gives to him and his buddies. If you're in the same one as him, he'll do that.
Handshake.
With you. The old handshake, the old little bit of the how's your father. So you can do that out here at ADA Fundraising. And, of course, you can check out all of these fantastic pieces of memorabilia. They got, I know Sterling was eyeing some Luther Burden pictures, maybe a Luther Burden jersey. They got George Brett autographed bats. That's still
whatever age you are, they have something for you. They have, Emmett Thomas, Jan Stinnerud, Lynn Dawson, Nick Bolton, FAU, Willie Wilson, Brady Cook, Deuce Vaughn. I mean, just you name it, whatever age you are, they have something from your era.
And a ton of stuff for whatever fan you are of the local teams. Devin Neal autographed jersey, Hunter Dickinson autographed jersey. It actually just elbowed somebody over there. That's awesome. I'm joking. I'm just kidding. He's a heck of a basketball player. They got Avery Johnson mini helmets. They've got you mentioned FAU. They got the really cool FAU with the pictures of him in a K-State jersey and a Chiefs jersey side by side autographed with the FAU, so you're a Wildcat and a Chiefs fan. That's a pretty cool deal there as well. So
they have a lot
like
of
we said, tons of Missouri stuff.
Patrick helmets, signed helmets too, super cool. Tony G,
Super Bowl,
and different level of helmets, but they're actually directly behind you. I don't want you to necessarily move, but like that gray one is awesome. Super Bowl ones as well. They have, I mean, everything. If you are wanting a specific item, I can almost, don't want to guarantee, but almost guarantee. They're probably going to have it.
I'd have to, see if they have more of these. But over on the table that I was looking at right before the show started, they had this beautiful case. All right, a beautiful wood hickory case with glass, and inside it, all 4 replica Super Bowl rings.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. Well, that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
There were 2 of them. I don't know if they have more of those.
Thing goes
but
quick.
There were 2 of them there when I sat down and we started the first segment. 18 minutes ago, but they are not there.
And you know what else?
But they probably have more because they've got tons of anything that's out on the shelves that's there, and all of a sudden it's gone. Just ask them. They might have tons more back in the back room or whatever. They got so many different things, and they've got this table filled with all these different tables filled with stuff, and then underneath it's like, oh no, we can just replenish that. Boom, here comes some more things. They got this box full of these autographed bats from Royals, along with the bats that they have on display that they're selling, like a George Brett, like a Bobby Witt and Vinny Pasquantino, all of them autographed.
You might go somewhere else, and you'll say, "Do you have anything in the back?" And the employee might literally just do a 360 as a joke and be like, "No, I checked the back. We have nothing." Here, they actually have a back, and they actually might have it for you. And what I also noticed, very reasonably priced. I mean, it's to the point where I'm sitting here going, I'm looking to get something for my dad for Christmas. So hopefully my dad is not listening right now. He's putting in handles at my new house. I'm having him working right now. I got to make my dad, earn his keep, of course.
Yeah, he's going to get something for Christmas.
If he's going to get something for Christmas, he's going to earn it.
What's the last thing he did for you?
Seriously.
It's not like you're here on the earth because of him, but it's
No.
What have you done for me next is what I always say.
It's the what have you done for me now business. We know what it is. So I'm looking around trying to see what I'm going to get Pops. So we'll find out. Find out.
You can get him a Pop, too, if you want to. Maybe a little Coke, maybe Dr. Pepper. I don't know what he's into. You can get that. They got this
he's a beer guy.
Replica Super Bowl trophy. That's a Patrick Mahomes autograph, right? That's
yes.
Patrick Mahomes autograph? Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I've seen it so many times, especially around here. There's tons of Patrick Mahomes autographs all over the place. I can just look at one of these helmets and see.
Yeah, right there.
Exactly. And
boom.
So that's a replica Vince Lombardi trophy signed by Patrick Mahomes right there. Now, you want to talk about a centerpiece for your man cave, your she shed, your lady lair, whatever it is.
Your kitchen.
What? It doesn't matter where you want to display it. That's fine. Oh.
Yeah, see.
Now it's sitting on the table here. Don't do that. That's a tease.
You think I'm not going to just put that in my kitchen?
That's a tease.
Who needs a microwave?
That's not gonna fit in my backpack, is it? I'm joking. I wouldn't. Oh, they're putting it in a box for somebody else.
Oh, they just wanted to tease you, Jason.
Okay. They just set it right on the table in front of me. It's that close. It's so close. You know what that is? You know what you just did? Sitting that right there. You just did what the NFL has done to the Bills and Bengals. You just dangled a Lombardi trophy right in front of me and then ripped it away. Just ripped it away. Now I know what the Bengals and Bills feel like. Right there. I could almost touch it. And then boom, gone. Oh, that was disappointing. And I'm glad I don't have to live that life.
No.
I'm glad I don't have to live that life because I know what it's like to watch my team win not one, not two, not three, but 4 of them and maybe 5 of them this year. It is amazing, though, because there's so much Super Bowl memorabilia here.
Yeah.
Because they've won 3 of them in 5 years. So
a lifetime.
My son was. We were decorating his tree. I think 3 months ago is when we start getting ready for Christmas. So we were decorating his tree, and we're going through his different ornaments that he's hanging. And he had one that was the Super Bowl, and he's hanging it up. And I go, "Which one was that?" And
wow!
I couldn't believe I caught myself. Like,
yeah,
I really just said, "Which Super Bowl ornament is that from?" It was the Eagles Super Bowl.
Sure.
So because I'm like, well, the letters start to run together, right? The L-I-V, the L-V-I.
Well, and then they have the L-I-I-V, which made no sense because in one of the ones they have the Super Bowl, but they don't count the Super Bowl in the L-I-I-V.
Yes.
But how
it was just great that I was just like,
we?
Just like, which one is that? Oh, that was that you got that ornament after they beat the Eagles. Yeah. Well, I guess we haven't got you an ornament after beating the 49ers. You got the first 49ers Super Bowl, but not this 49ers Super Bowl.
You know you had 6 years ago?
What's that?
You had the Joe Montana. When he that was my ornament. It was a Joe Montana ornament. Also, for some reason, my grandma got me one when he was with San Fran.
It's cool. It's collectible.
Yeah, it was a collectible. She got me it twice because she forgot about it. But thank you, Grandma. You had the Trent Green and the Chiefs 2003 season.
Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes, Dante Hall. You had individual performances. Now you have rings.
My son, on his tree, he's got the Hallmark ornaments, lovely Kansas City company, but on his tree, so he's got he's learned about Tony Gonzalez and he's learned about Jamal Charles through having these ornaments. So anytime it's like, oh, there's Tony Gonzalez, that's the guy on.
That makes me feel so old.
Right?
Oh, that hurts.
He's only 9, so
grow up, kid.
He's only 9 years old. His whole life he's been watching Patrick Mahomes, so it's all good.
Tell that kid to grow up. He doesn't know pain.
He used to in 2018 when he was 3 years old, and he started watching some Chiefs games with me. That was Mahomes' first year. He would call him Pat DeHomes. Pat DeHomes. Pat to Holmes.
Have you thought, because he lives now such a glorious life,
Charmed.
have you thought about leaving Legos around and turning the lights off, and that way he can step on Legos to get some pain? Or maybe buy him a Razor scooter and he can hit his shins with it, and so he really understands the meaning of pain?
Dude, kids, for some reason, they have a sixth sense. It's like being able to walk through a minefield. They don't ever step on their toys. Mom and I constantly step on. Have you ever seen a little kid accidentally step on their own toy or Lego? Never happened. It's never happened in the history of child. But every single parent, somehow it's a heat-seeking missile. It is a magnet that your foot will find the Lego or the little play piece or the little action figure that's, not big enough to where and you will step on it every time. Yet my kids will just walk, not even looking blindfolded, and just skip around like they're going through a laser to break into a bank.
Laser.
It's they're Chiefsaholic breaking into a bank, just dodging lasers. He didn't do that. He's not good enough to do that.
Not yet.
No, well, I don't think.
Oh, you mean the real Chiefsaholic?
That's
yeah.
right. That's
yeah.
right. I don't think he's ever going to be able to. Do
I
that,
thought you meant your son.
Yes, but man, it is. We'll get into some sports here today, but it's hard to talk general sports when all of this cool stuff is here in front of us. So look, man, it's Christmas present, it's holiday present time, and you got your shopping to do. Boy, you got a sports fan in your life, or yourself. This is the time to get it done. I texted Mick. I'm like, hey, man, we're going to be at ADA fundraising tomorrow. Oh, what did he text back? Because Mick Schaefer's going to be here with us hanging out. I got to get the exact text because I thought it was funny. Mick Schaefer said, so it's Christmas shopping time. I said, you're damn right. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. I said, we'll be at ADA fundraising. He goes, Christmas shopping time. Very good. Here we go. We are there. Just as you're shopping for your father and whatever you get him, I will try not to say it on the air.
Thank you. Thank you.
That would be a jerk move.
That would be a really big.
I'm not going to say it on the air.
A big bummer.
I'm not going to say it.
I would dump it for you, Sterling. I would dump it to keep it off
Thank you,
the air.
Dylan, that is the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I'm just saying,
Mr.
Holmes, don't be surprised if there's a replica Lombardi autographed Patrick Mahomes trophy under your tree.
Don't say that. That now you're
Don't be surprised if that's the case.
No,
I want to oversell and underdeliver for you. That's what they say in sales, right?
Yeah.
Oversell, underdeliver. That's what I'm trying to get done here for you.
You're doing a phenomenal job, Jason.
I got you. That's taken care of. Look, man, that $1,000, that's a drop in the bucket for you.
No.
Drop in the bucket.
No, it is not, Jason. That is right now. While moving, that is a lot. I'm looking at going, that's a bathroom.
Honey, do we really need that add-on? I kind of feel like this is going to look better where the add-on would have been.
Do we really need tile in your shower? Like, what if we just painted it?
Man, these things, I'll tell you what, man, if you're going to get something here, come on down today because there's tons of stuff here, and there's a lot of people in here that are grabbing some stuff. There goes another Lombardi trophy off the shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, people are grabbing Lombardi trophies like they're Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I mean, it's just crazy right now. 913-912-4810 is the text line to be a part of the show, part of the conversation, 913-912-4810. We got a cool deal coming up later on this hour. We're going to talk with Eric Westfall from Profit Shares. This was an awesome thing we did last year that it's like playing the stock market for football games. Yeah. And so you get a certain amount of stocks and money that you can place on players, and it's props. It's like, Travis Kelce over 78.5 receiving yards in this game. So you can place like, all right, I'm going to put 20,000 on that of my 60,000 on that. Okay, and then you start trading. And all of a sudden in the second half, he's only got 20 yards. That price has just dropped. So if you sell, you're going to lose some money, or you can go and invest more and go, I think they're
short sell.
Absolutely, you go invest some more. I ended up winning. I didn't win the overall, but I won 2 of the 3 weeks that we did. Well, we did wild card, so 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I won 2 of the 4 weeks we did. And a couple of the individual AFC and NFC. So it was fun last year. Got the hang of it, had to do it, and so we're going to talk with Eric Westfall.
You have a big bruise in your back from patting yourself so hard on it.
I don't win much, Sterling. So I'm just saying how easy it is. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying how easy I won a couple.
That's true.
I won a couple of these group leagues that I was in. And if I can do it, I don't play the stock market. I don't even know what is a stock. A car, right? A stock car. That's what we're talking about. A little NASCAR, huh? A little trade and paint, huh? Wide open racing. But Eric Westfall will join us. We'll talk with Cynthia Freeland. Chiefs press conferences today. Mick Schaefer in the 1 o'clock hour right here. Dylan, with this being the second segment of the hour, what do you think the clock looks like for us? To get into a conversation now or later, an hour later? What are you thinking? What are you thinking, D?
I think we got time. I think we got some time for a conversation.
We got time? Okay, great. One of the things I'm going to ask Cynthia Freeland, do we think, because it was asked to Andy Reid, so I do think it's a question this week because we just watched the Chiefs score their only touchdown over the weekend when they went hurry up, no huddle.
Yeah.
And it was only a couple plays that they went no huddle. So it's not like it was the entire way down the field like they were SMU and Clemson. Right?
Sure.
It wasn't SMU coming back against Clemson and just no huddle, hurry up offense, get up there, get on the ball. There were a couple plays that were no huddle because there were a timeout, there's out of bounds plays, there's an incomplete pass, there's things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's only a few plays that were no huddle. And really they've only had a couple of drives this year that are end of half, end of game, where it's been sort of a tempo, hurry up offense, not strictly no huddle, right, but just tempo, hurry up. There have been 3 of them this year. End of the half versus the Bengals.
Yeah.
End of the game versus the Panthers.
Yeah.
And end of the half versus the Chargers. You would think there would have been more in games where they are in these close one-score wins, that they'd have more of these. But again, it's what we've talked about. So many of these close games are the other team. It's the other team playing catch-up, not the Chiefs scrambling to try to get back in the game and making this crazy comeback. That hasn't been the case. So into the half against the Bengals, they were down 16-10, a minute 33 to go and 1 timeout. So we think, all right, tempo. This is when they've been great. They gained 20 yards. Kelsey a 5-yard pass, Justin Watson a 16-yard pass, Pacheco caught a 1-yard pass, and then Mahomes was sacked by Trey Hendrickson. And then he scrambled for 8 yards and they punted.
Okay.
They got no points out of that. So tempo didn't work there.
Sure.
Didn't work there. They punted with like 30 seconds. So they used a minute of the clock to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays.
5 plays.
5 plays. They took a minute off the clock. That's not going to work in the middle of a game when your defense is out there. So it's like, okay, tempo, because in your mind, let's go tempo. Well, they score.
Sure.
Right? They didn't there. That was the end of half. Bengals get the ball back, run a couple plays, you go into half. All right, you're still down 16-10. It would have been nice for them to get points, but we know they ended up winning the game anyway. Into the game against the Panthers, tied 27-27. A minute 46 to go, all 3 timeouts. So not exactly a strictly no huddle because you had incomplete passes or you get out of bounds or timeouts. Kelsey picked up 8 yards. By the way, see the theme there. Kelsey 5 yards against the Bengals. Kelsey 8 yards. An incomplete pass that set up that huge DeAndre Hopkins 3rd down reception against the Panthers. So Hopkins 7 yards, first down. Then Mahomes scrambled for 33 yards. Then at that point, they were in field goal range.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt -1. The 10-yard pass to Kareem Hunt just to solidify, and then Schrader 31-yard field goal. So they went down the field and scored. It wasn't exactly no huddle, but it was tempo that they got down the field. They didn't have to run many plays. It was a huge 3rd down conversion, though. Into the half against the Chargers. We just watched it over the weekend. They were up 6-0, 3:28 to go with 3 timeouts. But they really didn't no huddle until after 2 minutes.
I feel like the caveat we should use is not necessarily no huddle, it's tempo. And that's what you have on the show sheet. But I think no huddle, I think, is just the easier way of almost saying with tempo. But I think with tempo is what we're kind of implying here.
Because, like, no huddle is like then you're going fast.
Yes, correct.
Because that's what it felt like against the Chargers. Because there were 3 plays that happened with a no huddle. With you complete the pass, boom, we're getting up here. Mahomes is giving direction signals where everybody's going to go, directing traffic, getting the planes there to the right gate. He's doing all of that. And then, boom, they snap the ball, they run the next play. And it was working. It was 5 yards here, 7 yards there. So they no huddle after the 2-minute warning. They get the defensive pass interference. Then the next play, Kelsey for 13 yards. Gray 8 yards. P. Ryan had the 3-yard gain where he fumbled and then picked it up and then picked up the 3 yards. And then Hopkins had the 8-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So they scored there. So against the Bengals, they did not come through. Against the Panthers and the Chargers, they did. So
pretty good ratio.
2 of the 3 that we've seen. The problem is if your defense goes out there and, they give up a longer drive.
Yes.
And then you go out there and have a drive like you had against the Bengals where you run 4 plays and you take a minute off the clock and you punt it right back to the other team because you're going tempo, no huddle. Well, the defense was just out there.
Yeah.
They probably gained 4.5 real minutes on the sideline, and now they got to go back out there. That's the risk you run. The reward is the other two sort of scramble, no huddle, quicker, less time to go in the half or in the game was 10 points.
Sure.
And the only reason it was 10 points is it could have been 14 because the way they were driving against the Panthers.
They just didn't
at that point. They were
the field goal was the game.
Take the time off the clock, kick the 31-yard field goal, and call it a day. So, is it worth it if you had 3 drives and you pick up 10 or 14 points in those 3 drives, but one of them you give the ball right back for your defense out there? That's the balance Andy Reid would have to have.
Sure.
If they wanted to do it more often, but we know that's not going to be the case.
Yes.
People are just wondering, Sterling, if it's like, if you're struggling and you're not getting a rhythm, do you do this to get locked in and get your quarterback into a rhythm?
The answer is yes.
I agree.
There's always going to be some nuance in this. You're not doing it right after your defense has a 13-play, defensive drive or stand or give it. No, there's always going to be some nuance to this. But when the offense is struggling, and Andy Reid talked about it, and that's why it was so funny when they were going into half. He's like, maybe we should run more tempo. It's not a joke, Andy. You should run more up-tempo. I am not saying no huddle.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about a little more up-tempo because it allows Patrick to get into the groove. It seems to elevate him and Travis. It seems to almost put them on the same page. So whenever they are having a little bit of miscommunication, hey, maybe when you run more up-tempo, that allows them to get that mind meld back together. Another name that stood out when you said the up-tempo? DeAndre Hopkins, right? It was DeAndre Hopkins. So
he had the first down catch against the Panthers, had the touchdown
against the Chargers. And then it also allows Patrick with his legs traditionally to get out and run more. But
Two different scrambles.
But what does it really do? It allows the offensive line to not have as many pass rushers traditionally going up against him. It's harder to blitz when you're going up-tempo, right? It's harder for the defense to really get set. It's harder for the defense to catch their breath and get back and go, snap after snap after snap trying to track down Patrick. To me, up-tempo also helps the helps the offensive line here. So, yeah, I'm not saying no huddle, but I am saying I would like to see a little more up-tempo, and there still is the ability to run the football. I don't know if that's a misconception or not. You can still run the football going up-tempo. Mm-hmm. You can still be creative. So, yes, I would love Andy and this Chiefs offense to go more up-tempo. Again, not no huddle, up-tempo.
Should point out, too, so when you're talking about the pass protection, the sack that happened against the Bengals with Trey Hendrickson, I went and watched that drive again last night just to get a better idea, not just look at the game book and read what it was to actually watch it. That sack was a deep drop by Mahomes.
Yes.
It was one of those shotgun, and now let me take 5 more steps from the shotgun.
Yeah.
And Hendrickson went right around Kingsley. I mean, Kingsley had no chance because Hendrickson, when he's going around the edge, just meets Mahomes at his back foot.
Yeah.
And that was early on before we found out that they really can't do many deep drops with Mahomes with this offensive line and the lack of protection. So that they're in a somewhat of a tempo, not a no huddle like it was against the Chargers, but they're in somewhat of a tempo. And then that was one to where it's like, all right, let's take a deeper drop and let's hit them. If they're coming up here, let's hit them. Well, that was the first sign of Kingsley getting dominated in the second half. That was the first sign where Hendrickson just simply went around Kingsley, and Mahomes had no chance. Got to his back foot, boom, sack. So I made a note of that. I'm like, well, did he get sacked in with tempo when we're thinking of what the Chargers game was?
Yeah.
No, he got sacked when they were running tempo, but that was the play that they said, let's take a deeper drop back, and that ended the drive.
So, again, it sounds like we're in agreement. It sounds like a lot of fans. I've seen the same thing, too. It just helps the offensive line when they are struggling. If you're seeing DJ Humphries or if he can't go, if it's going to be Wanye Morris and you know what you have with him, if he gets into in his dome situation or he is struggling, however you want to do it, maybe it's Joe Tooney, so this is a little different situation, but let's just say it's Wanye or DJ. I think up-tempo is going to help those guys, especially when you rock a lot of 12 personnel already. You're already trying to keep in a couple extra tight ends, and they're not blocking tight ends. You use them for routes. You got to try something new. This is new. This is different. And, again, you have seen the success already this year.
Yeah, and we'll see if they do that. I don't know that they will. I think it's Andy Reid saying, yeah, no, it's something we can look at. We look at all of those things, Pete. I mean, we discuss these things. They've got their analytics guys. They've got all of those. They've got as much they've got, at minimum, as much information as we have. They have tons more information because they have a lot more people working on gathering these things and coming up with a more organized way of doing that. Ooh, the rings are back.
The rings are back, yeah.
I told you.
The rings are back,
Those are sweet, right? I was just mentioning that I showed up, started the show, and there were 2 boxes there, and then I came back and I'm like, oh, they're gone.
Yeah, you heard that? Yeah, they were gone. And we're like, bummer.
Yeah, well, they are back. See, I told you, man.
Yeah.
Some of these things get purchased, and, hey, let's just replenish it right there. That is pretty sweet, though, man.
Yeah, those are cool.
That's you have many leather-bound books, and your room smells of mahogany.
Yeah.
That would go perfectly in that mahogany-smelling room that you have.
Oh,
with that beautiful wood box.
That cherry? I'll call it
cherry wood.
It looks like cherry to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna.
I'm not a wood guy.
This is definitely a little hickory.
I'm not a wood guy.
I
Dylan, you a wood guy?
I'm staying
Don't
far
answer
away.
that.
I'm staying far away from this one. So.
Well,
You're
you know, like
a
at a
child, Sterling.
at a certain
You're a
age,
child.
at a
It's
certain
not me for laughing. It's you for saying it.
at a certain age, you either become like a bird guy, or like a tree guy. Like you know what tree?
Bird.
Like,
I'll be a bird guy.
you'll what? You don't mean the wood guy?
I love Larry Bird. I was a huge Larry Bird fan growing up. That's why I was just a shooter, man.
That's why I love the Stanford Cardinal. You know,
because you're a bird.
Bird guy.
Have you gone birding lately?
No, I've not gone birding lately. But
Okay. Yeah, not no, but I need to get out. And just like this is the time. Like, oh, that they're going to be gone for a while. If I'm going to get my birds in, I better go ahead and check it out right now. I give the bird quite often when I'm driving, so or at least I used to.
That's fair.
At least I used to. A lot of birds around that. 913-912-4810. 913-912-4810. One of the things that I do think that we will discuss the rest of the year, depending on what happens in the postseason, and depending on how it happens in the postseason, that I do wonder if this is the year, and I brought this up with Adam Teicher yesterday, that you wonder if this is the year where the Chiefs go more all in for a tackle. Because they didn't necessarily go all in with Jawan Taylor. They signed who they thought was the best free agent tackle on the market.
yeah,
When they offered Orlando Brown the contract they offered him, he turned it down. They said, we're not waiting around. We're going to go and get Jawan Taylor because he's out there right now. We don't want to then Jawan Taylor goes somewhere else, and then you decide to go somewhere else, and now we're stuck with a lesser-than player. So they had to pay more of a premium for Jawan Taylor because they signed him earlier on, and Orlando Brown said no. Orlando Brown said yes, one, he'd be making more money since he got less with the Bengals, and he would be the Chiefs' left tackle, and we'd be talking about what's going on at right tackle, and there would be the continual chorus of Orlando Brown sucks. What are they going to do to fix the left tackle spot because Orlando Brown isn't good enough? He's better than what we've seen this year.
Would you?
100%.
Here we go. Question for you.
Answer for you.
Quick question.
Quick answer.
Would you rather have Orlando Brown Jr. on his current contract playing left tackle, or would you rather have Jawan Taylor on his current contract playing right tackle?
I'd take Orlando Brown's contract right now, and then we can try to figure out what the Chiefs would do at right tackle, whether that's
Agreed.
Kingsley or Wanya Morris at right tackle, as opposed to those guys being exposed on the left side. Although in the AFC there are plenty of really good pass rushers that line up against the right tackle.
Agreed.
We've talked about that.
I mean, you have Bosa and Mack. I mean, good luck. That's
when they signed Jawan Taylor, it's one of the things we looked at was Max Crosby, Bosa, or Khalil Mack. When Bosa doesn't play, which is quite often, Khalil Mack lines up against the right tackle. You see these pass rushers in the NFL, and a lot of them are lining up against the right tackle now. So I understood why the Chiefs were willing to put in some money at right tackle, but they offered that contract to Orlando Brown. But you do wonder if, and I think it's going to be something that we talk about, is if this is the offseason where they go, we're taking draft picks, and we're moving up from the first round, and we're going to target a guy, and if we can get him in the top 15, if he's there, we're going to do that. I think they wanted Amarius Mims.
Sure.
I think they were trying to maybe move up and get Amarius Mims. Then the Bengals got him, and he's been good at right tackle. For a rookie, you would take it. A couple of other rookie first-rounders have not been good, by the way. They've had some struggles.
Again, I will always say rookie tackles, give them at least a year. Andrew Thomas is always the name I go to. Giants fans wanted to call him a bust and done for, and then what happened when he came back? Oh, yeah, he was phenomenal.
Alt's been amazing, but Fashanu has not been that good.
But in fairness, Alt was a different level of prospect than all those other first-rounders.
Yeah, and Latham's been good, too. But Latham's a right tackle. Alt is a left tackle, but is now playing right tackle. But Fashanu has not been good. He was the number 11 pick. Fuaga has not been good. He was the number 14 pick. Fautanu, I think, was going to be good with the Steelers, but he's out for the season after playing one game because he tore up his knee.
Yeah.
But in that one game, it's like, wow, this guy looks pretty good. He had like a 70 pass block grade as a rookie in his first game. But, again, it's a one and done. He messes up his knee. That was the number 20 pick. Would it have been worth it for the Chiefs to move up from where they were at 32? They moved up to 28 to get Xavier Worthy, to move up from 32 to 19 if they knew Fautanu was going to go at number 20, but they wanted Amarius Mims. And I'm just looking at left tackles.
Sure.
Because Amarius Mims went before that, but he was a right tackle, playing right tackle. Fautanu, a left tackle, but he hurt his knee. It's not like the same thing was going to happen with the Kansas City. He dislocated his kneecap. Okay, is the same thing going to happen with if he's with the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know, but he looked pretty good. There are guys this last year that we looked at how deep the left tackle class was, and I think that's why they felt like they could wait in the second round and take a guy like Kingsley that in another year, maybe if Kingsley stays at BYU and is playing this year, this upcoming draft, Kingsley might be a first-rounder. Who knows? You know, after another year in college where it's like he's a project, may need a redshirt year, they like the tools, a little raw, that's why he's not a first-rounder. That's why he was available late in the second round when the Chiefs took him. There are a couple of guys that would have been available that have performed better so far than Kingsley. Brandon Coleman went in the third round, 4 picks after Kingsley, and he's been starting left tackle for the Washington Commanders, and he's got the 4th highest left tackle pass block grade of the rookie left tackles. So we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. It's something that we'll continue to talk about, and we'll talk with Eric Westfall. We'll tell you how cool this profit shares is for the upcoming postseason. More Zone coming up next. corporate remotes we do once a year, and they open up their doors once a year. The only time you can get this sports memorabilia, these collectibles, is at charity auctions. And you go there and put, these silent auctions. You go and put in the price that you want, and then somebody comes up and overbids. There's none of that here. The price is what you see. That's what you pay. And there's nobody behind you going, oh sir, I'll actually give you $150 for that. So there's no fights in here. Which is great. You just simply see the price and you purchase it. And
so no Oklahoma drills?
No.
Okay.
No Rochambeaus, no Oklahoma drills, no none of that. No thumb wars or anything right now. No paper, rock, scissors.
What? What?
Yeah. No
paper, rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper,
what?
scissors, shoes. Sorry. Rock, paper, scissors, shoes. That's what my kids say. They didn't know it's shoot. Rock, paper,
tell
scissors,
your kids
shoes.
to grow up. You're the one teaching them this.
I'm telling
You're their dad.
I'm telling them not to grow up, actually. It's the exact opposite. You'll
okay,
find
Peter
out.
Pan.
You'll find out. Well, I don't want them I don't want them to leave and not grow up. I just want them to stop growing. It's going too fast. Eric Westfall is our guest here with Profit Shares. The NFL season seems like it's going too fast, but we're getting closer to the postseason, which, Eric, I had a blast with Profit Shares last year in the postseason. It was so much fun. Welcome to the show, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Great to be here.
Well, yes, I appreciate you joining us. So for those that don't know, I tried to explain a little bit, but I'm clearly not going to be as good as explaining it as you are. I got the experience of participating and going through that and having experienced it. But what is Profit Shares for those that are listening? And it's like, all right, what's this deal as to how I can play some fantasy type with sort of a stock market feel while watching some football games and have a little fun?
Yeah, no, you did a good job. So Profit Shares is a prediction market platform where you make predictions by buying shares of the outcome you think is going to come true. And when I say buy, we use a play currency. We're not a gambling site, not using real money, but you use your play dollars to buy the outcomes, buy shares of the outcomes you think will come true. And the goal is the same as a gambling site, where your objective is to grow your balance as high as you can, and at certain levels you can exchange your those dollars. We call them profit dollars or P dollars. You can exchange your P dollars for gift cards. You can exchange them for donations to charities, that kind of thing. So it's very similar. Other than it's not just sports either. We cover a lot of different categories. Entertainment is a big one. Sports obviously is the biggest one, but entertainment, business, lots of things. Pretty much anything that you might ask somebody, hey, what do you think is going to happen here? Or, what's the outcome going to be? That can be turned into what we call a market, and then you go kind of take it from there.
How do you come up with the idea of this to incorporate all of these things into, whether it be entertainment or certainly what I enjoyed the most is the sports side? Like, how does this idea come to you, and how do you create it?
Yeah, so I learned about prediction markets when I was in business school, and I've just kind of always been intrigued by it. So it's kind of on the basis, there was a book, Wisdom of Crowds, and it's kind of around the idea or the concept that a large, diverse group of people will do a better job of predicting an outcome of an event than any individual expert, so-called expert. And Lord knows we got a lot of experts out there on social media and on whatever. But the theory is that overall the groups will do it. So kind of this idea, and prediction markets, you kind of, like you said, you kind of intertwine the stock market with the different topics, and sports is definitely the most popular one that we have. Since you played last year on the playoff contest, we added what we call public markets, which are just individual markets outside of a contest. But we've also introduced other contests. Just recently, we've got one running right now for the Grammys, which will be early February. But you can predict what's going to be the album of the year, record of the year, just like you can predict who's going to win the Super Bowl on the sports side. So again, numerous different, almost an endless array of options of topics that you could cover.
Yeah, and when you go to profitshares.com is where you can go and check this out, profitshares.com. The first thing that comes up is Play for a Cause. What is the Play for a Cause here?
Yeah, so that's something we introduced here recently, and it works kind of behind the scenes almost, where I mentioned earlier that you can exchange your P dollars for prizes. This has no impact on that. It's basically each player goes in and you can select a charity and you can select a college that you want to play for, and it's kind of a behind-the-scenes monthly contest, or actually two different contests, one for the charity and one for the NIL, the collegiate NIL. And how it works is when you select a charity or you select your NIL, let's say on the NIL side you select the Wildcat NIL. I'm a K-State guy, so I pick Wildcat NIL. You basically really become part of a virtual team, that Wildcat, that virtual team. And then just like, others that would pick KU, they're part of the Mass Street Collective team, or Missouri, they've got theirs, and et cetera, et cetera. So then your play and everybody else on that virtual team, their play over the course of the month, how they increased or unfortunately decreased their P dollars, but those who increased their P dollars the most, performed the best over the course of a month, profit shares will make a donation to the charity and to the collegiate NIL. So two different donations each month made by profit share. So no, it's not raising money. No, we're not asking money from the players. It's more of just, have a cause, a fun reason to come in and play, other than, kind of in addition to, earning your own P dollars to get your gift cards to Amazon or Taco Bell or whatever you might want. You got this kind of behind the scenes thing that you can raise money for collegiate athletes and charities.
That's pretty awesome with that. And you talked about the different types of contests and markets that you're going with, the Grammys and things like that. And obviously I love the sports side. You've got all the division winners that you can pick right now and play that one, or the Heisman market that you got, that Travis Hunter trading at $69 right now. So sort of the favorite there for to win the Heisman. Any new things that you guys have planned coming up for maybe the playoffs, maybe some other things?
We're always adding new markets, new contests. We're going to be very soon introducing NBA, college basketball. Just today we launched two new contests that are, still around football, but for college. One for the bowl games. I should say bowl games that don't include those around the playoffs, and then a separate contest for the collegiate playoff or football playoffs, the CFP. But we're going to be adding NBA and college basketball contests and markets. Of course, March Madness, it's not too far away. It's coming quick, so that'll be a big one. There's always something that we'll be adding. We also want to expand the Play for a Cause, add more colleges in their collectives, as well as adding more charities. We're looking to add, kind of additional ways that you can earn P dollars, kind of through accomplishments. Referrals. We're just kind of getting started with this, and referrals is something we're trying to do, and so that's one way you can get P dollars, is referring friends. And we'll also just make it just a really good experience is the key thing we're working on. And one new thing that one thing we've got, you guys kind of tested it last year, we'll be rolling it out later, but a little bit more kind of publicly, are these private contests where you can run private contests with buddies and all that. And what happens behind the scenes, if you're betting real money, well, that's that's not on us, but you can definitely
Same
use
thing
our
with fantasy
platform.
football. I mean, we play fantasy football just for bragging rights, Eric. That's what we do. It's only bragging rights in fantasy football, like CBS Sports and ESPN. They let us use the platform, but it's just for bragging rights, Eric.
Of course, as it should be, right?
Exactly right. Eric Westfall, Profit Shares. How do people sign up? ProfitShares.com, but what all do they have to do to get to start trading some of these things?
Yeah, it's really simple. Yeah, it's ProfitShares.com. So profit, like the prophecy, PROPHET, shares.com. And the sign-up's easy. You'll see the sign-up in the top right corner, and create your account and just start, go find a market, go find one of those available contests, and just enter. And you buy and sell shares. And if I can, just real quick, just kind of explain an example of how it works to your listeners. So on the one of the football contests we have this weekend, there's a market, and this is one. It's been a season-long contest, so and it's kind of closed for new entries. But just as an example, the Chiefs are playing the Browns this weekend. So one of the markets in that contest is who will have more receiving yards, Travis Kelce or David Njoku. And if you wisely think Kelce is going to have more yards, then you would buy shares of Kelce. And if, in the shares, so Kelce and Njoku both are independent outcomes, and they trade between zero. Each trades between 0 and 100. And so you buy shares of Kelsey, and if you're correct, then those shares that you buy will resolve and settle at 100 per share, 100 P dollars per share. And what you gain is the difference between your average price and the $100 that it settled at, times how many ever shares you want to buy. So, the more confident you are, the more shares you buy. Now, if you're wrong, then let's say you pick Njoku and you're going to be wrong, then those shares will settle at zero and you don't get anything. So, and that's how the simple mechanism of it is, and how you create your P dollars and grow your balance and raise money for charity, et cetera, et cetera. It all starts with those kind of markets and outcomes.
Yeah, so essentially if, let's say, Travis Kelce's at 60 and I buy 10 shares, that's 600 P dollars. But if he wins and goes over Njoku, then each one of those shares is paying out 100, so now I got 1,000. So I'm just profited 400 P dollars by putting those shares on Kelce to have more receiving yards than Njoku, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a fun deal, man. By the way, I also enjoyed during the playoffs doing some of the live trading while that was going on. That was fun. That was fun to do. So even while the live games are going on, because some people do that in some other platforms to have a little bit more than a rooting interest. So yeah, that was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you so much for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. It's a blast. I would suggest people go and check it out. PROPHET shares, not profit like the PROF, but PROPHET shares.com to check this out. It is awesome. And yeah, when you guys get those private groups and things up there, that's a lot of fun as well. Thank you for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Happy holidays.
Absolutely, to you as well. Eric Westfall, Profit Shares, again, PROPHET shares.com. And I really want Sterling to join in a private group that we do so he can lose as well.
Whoa.
Sorry, so you can play.
Whoa,
so you
okay.
that's what I meant. So you can experience it and play
Hey,
with us.
I'm a stock guy.
Okay.
I'm a stock guy.
All right.
Stockman.
Stockman.
They call me Stockman Stew.
Is that what it is? They call you that was your nickname in college?
Yeah, Stockman Stew, baby. Slanging stocks.
All right. I find that believable somehow. I'm not sure. We're here at ADA Fundraising. We'll tell you more about that on the other side. Cynthia Freeland coming up next. pieces of memorabilia, sports collectibles that you see at these charity auctions that you don't get a chance just to write down a number and purchase at these charity auctions. Here, they've got the number listed next to them, and they've got tons and tons of stuff here, some really, really cool things that would be great for any sports fan that is on your Christmas list or simply yourself. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert. Cynthia, welcome into the show. How are you?
I like that whole buying yourself a Christmas gift thing. That's a good idea.
Yes. 100%. 100%. It's great. It shouldn't be selfish. You know what? It shouldn't be selfish. You should love yourself, and you should make sure that you take care of getting yourself some gifts, you know? It's all good.
I think sometimes the dogs get me a gift, you know? It works out like that too, you know?
That is very nice. It comes out of the dog piggy bank that they have. So they've got their own money that they're collecting. That is awesome. Do you have like a bucket list? Or are you a collectible at all? Do you have things in a trophy room or a lady layer, a she shed? Well, I've got a man cave. My wife has her area that she loves. But do you have like a bucket list thing or some sort of white whale collectible of any sort that you'd want?
You know what's really I actually do like trading cards. Like I like player rookie cards, stuff like that. I have a few that I'm pretty proud of, but I pretty much just like opening them and seeing like who I get and figuring it out. There's people who are doing like secondary market stuff with it now, which is kind of fun to trade. It feels like the stock market for me. So I do enjoy them, and they take up not a ton of space because I can't do the clutter, but you know, I do enjoy that. And I do have a signed Barry Sanders helmet that you'd have to pry from my cold, lifeless body.
That makes total sense. I thought maybe it would be a Barry Sanders type deal. That might be something that stood out for you. That would make total sense. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert. So from a number standpoint, we talked a little bit about it on Monday after the day was over with Sunday and how beneficial that was for the Chiefs. From 6:45 when the final whistle blows for the Bills and Rams to 10:45 Central Time when the final whistle blows and the kick hits off the uprights and goes through. What did that do for the Chiefs in securing the 1 seed for them these last 4 weeks?
Oh, I mean, it's massive. That was it right there. That doink was the doink heard around the world. But you know, it's very unlikely that the Chiefs will now not have the one and only bye. And actually, you know, if you want to talk about being generous, maybe you gave a Christmas gift to the Broncos as well, although they're probably squarely in the playoff picture already. But, you know, Week 18 now could be a little bit less likely for the Chiefs having to win. So maybe that's a nice Christmas gift, you know, in addition to them getting the bye.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that if the Chiefs, it wouldn't have been funny around here if the Chiefs would have lost, but it would have been sort of a chuckle if the Chiefs end up losing for, you know, all the times that Ravens fans root against the Chiefs, and then this week they're actually rooting for the Chiefs to beat the Chargers, and then they would lose. Like it'd be kind of funny, you know, for those that may not be Ravens fans, if that were the case, you know. But Ravens, you know, want the Chiefs to lose every week, and then this week it's beneficial for them to beat the Chargers, so they become Chiefs fans for them to win. And if they would have lost, boy, that would have just been that would have been twisting a knife, really. I think, and that wouldn't have been fair. So I think the Chiefs were very nice in doing that. That's what it was.
Very nice. Very, very nice. The rest of the country also agrees that the Chiefs are the nicest team, that, you know, they just want good things for the Chiefs. The rest of the country's like, you know who we need to give more good things to? The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. It was it was absolutely perfect, though, the way that they won, because Chris Collinsworth starts giggling on the broadcast, and in the press box, James Palmer in his podcast with Steve Smith was talking about covering the game in the press box, and he said as soon as it hit off the upright and went through, he goes, in the press box, people just started laughing. Because that's just – oh, and I started laughing too. I started laughing, and I'm like, I just cannot believe this. That's simply the reaction. I don't know that there's some statistical way of figuring out the percentage chance of the Chiefs winning all of these games, but you know, when we say regression to the mean and, okay, well, they're going to start losing some of these one-score games – Does it necessarily mean that, okay, the next one-score game they get into, they're going to lose? Is there something more to the Chiefs having a thumb on the scale rather than just a flip of the coin, and however it lands? Can the Chiefs be a team that is able to tilt that 50-50 coin flip one way or another, and we're not just seeing a statistical anomaly of 14 consecutive one-score games being wins, that there's something more to it, that you don't control the flip of the coin, but you can control a football game to a degree?
Well, it's like one of those things where, those people who, like, they have 5 girls and they keep trying for the boy, and then they're like, maybe we need to stop now. It's not their independent flips of the coin. It does feel like the Chiefs have a weighted coin, though. However, you have to remember that there are 2 things involved. Number one, you have to get the extra possession in order to win in a one-possession game, and you have to be able to execute on it. So it's not just a strict flip of the coin. It's a flip of the coin with a very, very, very good team. So that's kind of the difference. It's truly not 50-50. It feels, and over the long term of, like, many years, you will see regression to the mean, but we talked about it before. It's a small sample size in one season, and even though 14 times feels like a lot, you have to remember, like, think of NBA games or MLB games, like, that's like 1/10 of the season. So the reality is it feels like a lot because we have so few. The scarcity makes it disproportionately feel more psychologically impacting.
Yeah, visiting with Cynthia Freeland. It's very psychologically impacting for those that are rooting against the Chiefs. It's Cynthia, it is weird watching the Chiefs this year because I've never been this calm watching a team in a 50-50 game and just thinking they'll find a way to win. Like, there is it's so weird because, like, me losing my mind during an MUKU game earlier that day of not knowing what the outcome is going to be, to then later on that night watching the Chiefs go from up 13-0 to down 14-13 to then down 17-16 and just be like, they'll figure it out. They're going to win. Like, it's stressful to think about. It's stressful, Cynthia, about how many points they're going to win by. Sometimes they win by 4. Sometimes they win by 6. Sometimes they win by 2. It's like, oh, my gosh, how many are they going to win by this week? It's so stressful for the Chiefs. It is the weirdest feeling I've ever had for a team that I'm emotionally invested in, that there's just sort of a calm and a comfort that I can watch the game knowing that somehow it's going to be fine. Like, that's not reality of the NFL. Like, you can't be in a one-score game sitting there going, well, this play happens, but yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to find a way to win.
Well, the truth is psychology, we talk about momentum, right? And all analytics people are like, momentum isn't real. Well, psychology is real. And the fact that you feel calm probably reflects the fact that the team also feels calm. They believe they can do it. And, there's a lot of research about mindset. You could just ask anyone, literally, right? Like the mindset research will show you have a better chance of the outcome going in your favor if you believe you can do something. So I think that mindset and psychology are real. I don't necessarily believe momentum or, like, the last play dictates the next play.
Well, Stewie Griffin said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
That's right. And as long as Stewie says it, then it must be true.
Exactly. Thank you. Cynthia Freeland is our guest, NFL Network analytics expert. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is something that's come up this week around Kansas City is, the Chiefs scored 1 touchdown against the Chargers, and that's when they went up-tempo. They went no huddle a few plays. It was take the snap, quick read, get the ball out, 5 yards, here's 7 yards, here's 6 yards. And they moved down the field with relative ease against the Chargers, and they scored a touchdown before half. And the rest of the game felt like they were pulling teeth to get any points. It ended up being 3 scoring drives or 4 scoring drives, all being field goals at that point, one of them at the end, obviously, to win the game. But the question has been, and we've brought it up a couple times, and Andy Reid was asked about it on Monday, Cynthia, if going up-tempo in the middle of the game might be something that they think about. And he said, we look at everything. There's certainly some positives there, and it's a good point and something that we've thought about, and we look at all those things. Is it as easy, Cynthia, as it looked so simple that they were driving down the field in the no huddle or the hurry up offense to a degree, at least tempo. that why wouldn't they try that more? What's the pro and the con of that, of the risk reward for a team if, like in this Chargers game, punt, 5 plays, not a lot of momentum, and then you come out and you just go, let's see if we can get some tempo here and start picking up some first downs?
Well, there's one thing, it's fatigue. I mean, you're going to, think of a game. Obviously everyone watched the Bills and the Rams. They were up tempo the entire second half, and they're going to be exhausted.
That game was on fast forward. I feel like
that game was
somebody
on
hit
fast forward.
So
while the Chiefs didn't have quite as much fast forwarding going on as the Bills, let's just use that as an extreme example. I would imagine we see some fatigue, especially in a short week for the Rams. I would imagine we see some fatigue from the Bills against the Lions. This is going to cause down the line issues. Playing an extra game of snaps, that is exhausting, and it's not sustainable over the course of a long amount of time, right? You use it when you have to. You don't use it as a weapon every single time. It's very, very, very tiring.
Is it something that you can utilize maybe randomly, in this game against the Chargers, where they couldn't seem to get any fluidity going? It didn't seem like there was any rhythm to the offense until that one drive. Is it something that maybe you just go, all right, let's do this drive? We don't need to do this the whole game. We're not going to be I used the example earlier today, SMU against Clemson in the second half. We're not going to do that every drive. But you know what? We've gone a couple 3-and-outs, and it's just not connecting. Let's see if we can get them into a defensive personnel that we can just keep that on the field and pick up some yards and get into a rhythm.
Well, I would actually go further than that and to say you shouldn't just use it when you're having other issues or things not go right. I think you should use it randomly, even when things are going well. You should play poker with it, right? You need to be a bit unpredictable. So if you're only predictable, you're actually giving the defense a leg up, right? If you only decide to go tempo when you've had a couple of, failed drives, then the defense is going to be ready for it, and they're going to know what your strategies are. But if you're very unpredictable, then you have a chance to not only use it when things aren't working, but sneak one in when things are working. So I'm all about what's your Texas Hold'em strategy for it? Because I think that's what would ultimately, to me, be the optimal strategy. So yes, the answer is yes. I think you should definitely do that, whether or not it's kind of, you have to. Let's change it to the paradigm of you get to.
This is totally anecdotal, and it's just a one-off and a lot of data with this, but I know the Chiefs don't run very often on second down, and especially second and long. If the first down is incomplete, then the second down is going to be a pass play typically. If the first down is a run play, the second down and long is going to be a pass play. But on their second to last drive in the second half, it was the last play at the end of the third quarter. It was an incomplete pass to it was one where Mahomes just chucked it deep. It was a delayed blitz. He was about to get hit, and he just threw it down the field. Nobody was there. It was 2nd and 10. The next play, they handed off to Pacheco for 7 yards. And I took a note of that, and I'm like, there's no way the Chargers thought they were going to hand it off to Pacheco. And they did on 2nd and 10, and they picked up 7 yards. And then they started the fourth down with a very easier, gettable third down, which they did. And they drove the field, and they got a field goal to give them the lead at that point. It's total anecdotal, right? But it's sort of to your point that playing against tendencies from time to time, can work in your favor. It's not that they're going to go and run the ball every single time on second and long. But when they do, it seems to be effective, because there's no way a team would look at the Chiefs on 2nd down and 10 and go, they're going to, I'm playing complete and total pass here. They're not handing it off. They did. They pick up 7 yards.
Right. Well, and you also have to kind of know thyself, because that might not be the case. If it's the Lions, for example, they're going to run it on second long. They don't care, right? Because that's their identity. Right. So, I mean, it really does, every team has to, they're sitting there thinking, we're going up against 15. They're going to pass the ball, because why would you not put it in his hands? So, correct. You have to mix it up just enough to be unpredictable and not predict. You have to be unpredictably unpredictable, not predictably unpredictable. If that makes sense.
I love it. Cynthia Freeland is our guest, NFL Network analytics expert. Okay, Cynthia, you've studied the booties of these offensive linemen in your day, and so you are the expert on this that I would go to when it comes to offensive linemen, maybe not just booties, but just ability to play. I'm going to give you two really good, like above average, maybe one of them top 10 at his position, but two good players on the offensive line. I'm going to give you two bad players and one just representative player. Where are you positioning those guys? You can put the two good players at any position. You can put the two bad players at any position, and you can put the player that is just a generic across the board 15th best in the league at any position. How are you structuring your offensive line?
I'm reinforcing the center and the left tackle. Then my next priority is the right tackle, then the guards. The Chiefs. It would be something different for a different team.
Okay. I bring that up because and I like that because they've already got Creed as one of the best centers in the league, and they've got one of the worst left tackle situations in the league. Their right tackle is, I'd say, average, so that would be where the sort of the average player would come in. But they are a team that from guard to guard is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. But the tackle situation has been a struggle. The Chargers have some issues at guard from time to time. Their tackles are unbelievable. And what I watched in the game on Sunday night, Cynthia, was one team that has issues interior on the offensive line that gave Justin Herbert all day to throw. I mean, he was doing his taxes in the backfield. I mean, he was eating. He had a sip of coffee. I think at one point he sort of like dusted the football off to make sure it was clean when he was back there. And the other one has guard-to-guard studs and was under pressure all game. Got hit 13 times, pressured, sacked another 3-4 times. And I come away with that going, like, I maybe it's just, being a prisoner in the moment, but that was pretty decent evidence of, the tackle position. If you can figure that out and piece together some other spots, you're in a much better position to pass protect than you would if your guard, center are so awesome, but you're leaving your tackles on an island against some of the best pass rushers, and you're just getting beat. And it's killing this offense by not being able to let longer, slower developing plays and take some of these shot plays because they don't have time to throw.
Yep. I mean, we said it last week. I'll say it again. Figuring that out, be it through however rotation, whatever, figuring out the right mix there, plus, whatever play calls need to happen to optimize for the situation that they're currently like. That's the evolution that has to happen over the next month, because that's the limiting factor when it comes to New Orleans to me, like by far. Yeah.
Visiting with Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert. And I do wonder if this is the offseason, Cynthia, where Brett Veach just goes, bleep it, we're going all in, we're pushing our chips in, whether that is we're trading draft picks and we're moving up to get a left tackle in the draft, or we're pushing chips in and we're trading for somebody that's willing to trade a left tackle that maybe doesn't want to pay him. And we're going to figure this out, and if we pay the left tackle, we'll pay the left tackle. We're going to have somebody there. And the only issues we're going to have moving forward at left tackle for the next 3, 4, 5 years is if that guy gets injured. And outside of that, we've got that taken care of. I do wonder if this is the time where Brett Veach just goes. They pushed their chips in with Patrick Mahomes, and they've been trying to piece some things together here or there, and it hasn't really been working, at least to this point, with that left tackle spot, and I do wonder if they just go, bleep it. We're figuring this out. Ends will justify the means in this offseason, whether good, bad, or indifferent.
I mean, I'll say it again. This draft class is not full of studs.
Right.
It's not a deep O-line class at all. And you're not going to be in a position. You're very unlikely to be in a position where that will fall to you. It just doesn't. It doesn't seem like that's a reasonable thing to imagine will happen. Like that is not easy.
Yeah, and that's why it might be pretty difficult for them to do, or identify a tackle on a team that's rebuilding that would take a first-round draft pick that maybe doesn't want to pay that tackle. That's also trying to thread a needle to find that person. That could be pretty difficult as well. Visiting with Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert. A couple of quick ones. I don't even want to say resurgence, just the emergence of Sam Darnold as a good quarterback in what he's doing in Minnesota. He has the most 20-plus air yard completions this year of any quarterback. Is this it's coaching and this is the evidence that coaching can do wonders for a particular player, a quarterback, whatever. Is Sam Darnold somebody that just needed time to mature, and maybe it's evidence of that gives somebody a little bit, don't just write them off after a year of struggling or not being as good as you thought? What are the lessons that we can take maybe from maybe even Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay as well? But what are the lessons we can take away from what Sam Darnold is doing this year for Minnesota?
Well, yes, the answer is all yes. Like, he had the raw material. The coach put the raw material together very well. The game plan really worked for him. And last but not least, you don't only have Justin Jefferson, you also have Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Like, the supporting cast is also very good. Yeah. And the O-line is well above average. It's a top 7, 8 O-line in the entire league. They were better when they had their original starting left tackle, as we know, but they got Cam Robinson. He's integrating well. But, this is it shows you that one person is very unlikely to change a franchise. I mean, look, Patrick is special, so you have to remember not everyone is Patrick. There's only one Patrick. But other than that, there were other things there too, right? You have Travis Kelce, you have Chris Jones. There's other people in that world and orbit. But, Sam Darnold, the sum of the pieces is greater than each individual piece alone. So it's not. I think maybe Justin Jefferson. Maybe Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. It's hard to argue between the two of them. Who's the best in the league? Right? I don't know. They're 6 of one, half a dozen of another, right? So it really helps to have that. Plus Jordan, plus the other guys too. So it all works together, and that's the key.
Yeah, it's a good point about the weapons do matter for sure. It's just amazing what he's had 2 games this year where he hasn't had at least a 100 quarterback rating. Just 11 touchdowns, no interceptions his last 4 games. He's just playing some great football, and I'm happy for him that he isn't just remembered for being a guy that was a complete and total bust. And again, Baker Mayfield with a pretty good coach and surrounding cast with, maybe not this year with Godwin not being there and the injuries they've sustained, but getting Evans back. But from Cleveland to Carolina to now in Tampa. What he's done as well. So
I really think a team like the Jets could use a guy like Sam Darnold. I really think the team like the Jets might benefit from a quarterback like Sam.
Yeah, and if Bryce Young doesn't work out in Carolina, you can go get Baker, or Cleveland. Cleveland go get Baker.
Yeah, Cleveland. You need a quarterback, right? So maybe they go back and.
Do you think it would work in Cleveland for Baker Mayfield, Cynthia?
Yeah, obviously. Look, yes. I don't know. I never want Cleveland to start anyone but Jameis Winston until the wheels fall off there. So, 100%. He's just the best interview possible. So, he's a wildly hilarious interview. I need him to keep talking about. There's that white boy up in Michigan. His name's Eminem. Like, what?
He said you only get one shot. Then they beat Pittsburgh, right? When he went and he said, I'm gonna go order a W from Amazon. It's gonna be there by 9:00. That's how quickly they deliver. I'm ordering a W from Amazon. He's so amazing.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
And yes. There's just yes. That's the
it's the entire experience, though, right? It's the experience of him talking, his pep talks, his post game, and also every throw could be an amazing tight window touchdown or a pick six. Just the whole roller coaster of Jameis Winston is, I'm all for it. As long as he's not on my team as a starting quarterback, I'm all for it. He is on the other side, though, this weekend. What do you make of the Browns? They're so Jekyll and Hyde. Can you get a grasp on what this team is and what this matchup will be like for the Chiefs before we let you go?
I think that this is I've been calling for it for a while now, but I think this is the week where they cover the spread. I like that.
9 in a row they have not covered.
I know. I think it's finally come down to a situation where the number is exceedable. But when I'm looking at the real strengths there, it's of course there's Jerry Jeudy, a threat for that deep pass. It'll be fun for the defense, but again, Jameis Winston, I just want him mic'd up. I want to hear what he has to say against every single one of the Chiefs defenders. I think it's going to be hilarious. So, 100%. I don't worry about them from the winning standpoint, but it is going to be you can't let him go on the good side of the streak. Got to keep him balanced. A good, healthy diet of deep throws and interceptions.
100%. Yeah, good Jameis, bad Jameis. We'll find out what we get this weekend. Always good, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network analytics expert. Cynthia, thank you so much for the time. As always, enjoy the football, and somehow we'll be talking next week with only 3 games to go. That is somehow happening this year in the NFL. Crazy.
How crazy is that?
I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. But thank you for the time, Cynthia, as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There's Cynthia Freeland. Great stuff from her, NFL Network analytics expert, card collector.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening up and seeing what press she gets on those. My son is very much into cards now.
Yeah.
So he's hoping that Santa will put some packs of football and baseball cards in his stocking.
If he wants to swing by, I got a whole bunch of 1988 to 1992. We can really have some fun.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those as well. He's putting them all in the cases and everything.
Oh, yeah.
The little penny sleeves, putting them in the cases, all the good cards that he gets. And
that's so fun. That was one of my favorite memories
awesome.
as a kid.
He's created a big book, with the laminated spots.
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
So he's got that big binder, with all of his cards and everything.
That was my move, but I would fleece kids because they all wanted like the Paul Pierces and the the Vince Carters. So what would I do? I'll go, you can have my Paul Pierce, but I'm going to need that Wilt Chamberlain. And that's how we do it.
Cool.
And so now I have all these
Paul
older
Pierce is
ones.
worth so much more.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Well, I lost all my Griffey rookie cards to Johnny Damon, so that happened. So what are you going to do? We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We're hanging out at ADA Fundraising, where we are here today. Our show today, the program, Curtis Siebold will be here tomorrow. Stephen St. John and A New Day will be Friday afternoon hanging out here at ADA because they're opening up their doors once a year. It's today through the weekend that their doors will be open, that you can come in and check out all of these amazing pieces of sports memorabilia, autographs, collectibles, everything for Chiefs fans, Royals fans, college fans, whatever it is. They've got it all here at ADA Fundraising, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside. We'll be here till 2 o'clock. They are continuing to stay open today, tomorrow, on into the weekend as well. We take a timeout. We come back. More Zone next. WHB, Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels, heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Andy Reid, we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes, we'll hear from Nick Bolton and Trey Smith. They will be at the podium when we will head there in about, about 5 minutes from now. We are hanging out at ADA Fundraising. It's 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside, where they are opening up their doors. They do this every year just for a few days. They open up the doors. They allow you to come in and check out all of the sports memorabilia, purchase it. And this is the only time of the year that you can come in and do this. The other time that you will see all of this stuff and get a chance to purchase any of these things, it is through charity auctions. It's through silent auctions. And maybe there's a piece of sports memorabilia you've really, really wanted, and it's like, oh, I hope it's at this charity auction. Well, decent chance you could probably find it here at ADA Fundraising, and you don't have to worry about it being in an auction. You come in, you see the price, you purchase it, and you walk out with whether that be a present for family members, yourself, whatever. They also have the mystery bags, which is really cool. Got a couple of mystery bags last year on my way out. And the mystery bags with the mini helmets. So
it's like a present for yourself.
That's exactly right. They have the jersey mystery bags as well. That the mystery bag includes you'll get a jersey. You don't know which one it is, but there's a Mahomes in there somewhere. There's a Kelsey in there somewhere. There's a Pacheco in there somewhere. There's McDuffie and their jerseys, Lynn Dawson jersey, in there somewhere. Like, you just got to pick out the bag. You don't know which one it is. And same thing with mini helmets. Tons of mini helmets with the gift bags that are here. The mystery bag, it's pretty cool. I know last year we were here when somebody purchased a jersey mystery bag, and as he went out to his car and opened it up, it was Mahomes.
Oh, man.
He came back in to let everybody know, I got Mahomes. I got Mahomes. I got the Mahomes one. And everybody's like, bleep you. Then they fought him. That was weird. That was a little that was extreme. They shouldn't have.
Come on. They did Oklahoma drills. That's not a real fight.
That's right. No, but that was cool to see that.
Yeah.
To see that, that, hey, it's real. There are Mahomes jerseys and mini helmets in these mystery bags. I watched it happen last year in real time. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Nick Bolton, and Trey Smith coming up next. the program. Curtis Siebolt will be hanging out here tomorrow. Stephen St. John will be out here Friday afternoon. So all of these cool sports memorabilia, collectible pieces that are – a lot of them are showpieces, man. A lot of them are the talking point of whatever room you may have. Look at that centerpiece that you put right there, and it's like, whoa, conversation starter.
Yeah.
With a lot of these things, man. It's pretty cool here. We are going to hear from Andy Reid. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes. We'll hear from Nick Bolton. We'll hear from Trey Smith as well. So we'll hear from those guys, and we'll see if there's an update on DJ Humphries. We'll see if there is.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, he'll just he's day by day.
We're still waiting to get back. How long does it take, Andy?
Yeah, we'll see how we'll see how that goes. We'll see about that as the days go on. See how he does today. See how he responds, and then on to tomorrow and Friday as well. And we'll just we'll keep track of that day by day. See how it goes. And obviously an update on Steven Nelson getting signed to the practice squad.
Yeah.
What could be the plans?
Which I think is a more underrated,
I like
legitimate
it. Yeah. If he can offer something.
Playmaker.
If he can offer
playmaker's a strong word. Player signing. A guy who could actually make an impact. I think more so than DJ. Just not coming off of an injury necessarily. Not the same injury. A guy who was good last year.
Yeah. Hopefully, he can play outside. And if he does that, then you can slide McDuffie to the slot. And maybe you're a better defense for it, and you can piece Shamari Connor in different places on the defense, and not have him getting beat in man-to-man coverage in the slot as much. You would be having an all-pro cornerback at the slot with McDuffie there.
I will point out some people feel a certain way about Steven Nelson coming back with some of the comments he had when he left. But if he comes back and plays,
I know it felt like that was more Bob Sutton, but yeah.
If he comes back and plays well, I think all will be forgotten.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought I was hoping they would have re-signed Steven Nelson. I thought he played perfectly fine. I thought he was one of the better. I thought he was one of the better, players on the defense that particular year. That especially in the secondary, but. He went and played well with Pittsburgh and continued to play well the rest of his career outside of Kansas City. And, yeah, he wasn't a fan of Bob Sutton. And maybe that makes sense. I don't know who was, by the way, except for Andy Reid. And, we now know that the Chiefs' defense has been vastly improved and better with Steve Spagnuolo. That's been a big difference for this team, is making that change. Now, making the change on players as well. Tyrann Mathieu was a big deal. Frank Clark was a big deal when they acquired both of those players, and what they did for the overall culture of the defense and the standard that they were setting, along with Steve Spagnuolo. But, yeah, if Steven Nelson can come back and contribute on the outside, if Joshua Williams can play at a representative level on the outside, and you can get all-pro play from Trent McDuffie at the slot, does that make you a better defense? Certainly it seems like that.
Yeah.
It feels like that would make you a better defense, because the interior of the middle of the field seems to be getting eaten up against the Chiefs. And, Bolton has his struggles at times in coverage, and Steve Spagnuolo mentioned a couple of mental errors that got him against the Raiders. We'll hear what Steve Spagnuolo has to say tomorrow if there were mental errors against the Chargers. But a couple of mental errors. Said the communication was good, but there were some mental errors by guys that, made some mistakes there that they got to clean that up. And Steven Nelson wouldn't be familiar with Spags' defense, so it would take some time for him to be on the same page with everybody. So it wouldn't be just a plug and place, and play him at that spot whenever he comes and is ready to go physically, because he hasn't played all year. I don't know how much he's been working out.
Sure.
A little bit different than DJ Humphries, where he's been working out and going through the workouts with different teams and trying to get signed, whereas Steven Nelson announced his retirement at the end of the year. Didn't file paperwork, but announced his retirement.
You have to imagine it helps, though, playing in multiple systems. You should be able to pick it up quicker than most.
Yeah, for sure. Here comes Andy.
People not practicing today. DJ Humphries won't practice. And again, we haven't listed him as out or anything there, so he's we're just going to take it day by day and see how he does. Every day he's gotten a little bit better, so we'll see how all that works. And then it'll be similar to last week. I've got a couple variables that I can do at that spot. Anyways, we look forward to the challenge of playing the Browns. They're a good football team. Every team in this league, I mean, as we know, has a chance to win games. So we that's the way the league's set up right now, and so we get ourselves ready to play. You don't care about records or anything else. I know they're well coached. I know Kevin personally, and he does a heck of a job. And his coordinator Schwartz, I mean, I've known for a long time, and Dorsey, Bubba. I mean, they're all good football coaches. They got good players, and so we got to make sure we have a good week of practice, going forward here. So with that, time's yours.
Any Butler's eligible to come off IR this week? You see him kicking in Cleveland?
We're going to see how he does here. So he'll get a few. Yeah, he'll have a few snaps out there.
Andy, of
Or
course.
chances.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Of course, you're only looking at this game, but am I right to think this is the first time you'll ever confront a situation with 3 games in 10 or 11 days, and in some way, do you have to have that in your thinking somewhere?
Yeah, that's a unique situation. You just have to manage it. It is what it is. So you make the best of it, and main thing is that you get your guys ready for the game, give them a chance to be ready for the game. They're going to do whatever you present to them. So try to help them out with that. But, right now we've got a normal week right here, so we've got to take care of business for sure.
Just another housekeeping kind of question with Hollywood. How close is he and so far as maybe opening his practice window?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's getting close. I mean, he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. And but he's got to visit with the doctors and make sure that he gets clearance there. And so, but I think I'd probably say he's getting close. I can't give you a date. I don't know a date on it, but he says he feels great. So.
Andy, what's the plan for Steve Nelson?
Yeah, let him get himself in shape, move around a little bit, and you won't see him this week. That's not what we're going to do. Be like the other guys that came in, give him a chance to kind of get their feet under him, and for sure, so he hasn't done anything up to this point. So let him get moving around.
Pat's been, as you know, been sacked more this year than he has in his career and faced more pressure. How have you seen him adapt his game to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he made some unbelievable catches, or throws the other day, and he never complains about anything. He doesn't, he just comes back and goes on to the next one and fires. And so, but I mean, he's doing what he always does. He hasn't had to really adapt other than to make the throw. And
well, he was really good the other night, getting rid of the ball quickly and complete those passes.
Yeah.
Could he have done that earlier in his career, you think?
Yeah, I think he could have. Yeah, I mean, we didn't ask him to do a whole lot of that, but we. I think he could have. Yeah.
When you guys go back and look at the film, when you grade those things out, do you like this was a coverage deal, this was a line breakdown, this was a ball where maybe Patrick held it too long? I mean, how does that mix go out? Has it been different this year than other years?
We look at everything, so for sure, and I mean, he's had a little bit more pressure this year. And listen, he'll tell you, he'll be the first to tell you, they're spread all over the place. Everybody had a piece of it, me included, calling the plays. So it's, I've got to make sure I adapt to the personnel and what we have and what they do best. And then everybody else has to do their job. And so I think everybody probably tell you it's spread around, on that.
What type of challenge does Miles Garrett present, and I guess how much does that weigh maybe in a tackle decision when you're trying to figure that out?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's really a good player, probably a future Hall of Famer, I'd say. He's he's a dominant player, and we recognize that and respect that. He's going to show up though, and we're going to show up, and we've got to play well against him, and we have the capability of doing that. That's how I feel. So, we just got we respect the heck out of him. Yeah.
And when you said Patrick never complains, I wonder if you could, it seems maybe obvious, but I wonder if you could maybe go a little bit deeper on that.
Yeah, listen, he gets up and goes. You always see him, give me the next one. And that's how, just give me another one. I'll make it work here. So he doesn't, he doesn't ever get crazy with that stuff. So he's pretty good about it.
Andy, this is a theme this year, but bringing in guys similar to Steven Nelson, who didn't have training camp, didn't have obviously a preseason. What have you found that has been sort of the right balance of trying to bring them up to speed as quickly as possible, but obviously not put them actually in more danger? When you play a game, obviously something you can't determine if something's going to happen with DJ, but obviously we saw the tightrope you're walking, I guess.
Yeah, listen, you have to listen to everybody and see, and particularly the kid, and see where he's at. And you kind of get to know him in that period of time and make a judgment on it and go with it. It's a sport where even the healthy guys and guys that have been with us from the beginning, they have a chance of getting hurt. That's all part of this. But to answer your question, we just make an evaluation on it with the different information from different people, but particularly the kid.
Andy, when you pop up the film on the Browns defense, what are kind of the signatures of the Jim Schwartz style?
Yeah, aggressive. He's got a really good blitz package. It's extensive, and then they mix it in with zone, so they can play single safety, middle zone, shell. And he's got it all, and he dials them all up. You got to be sharp when you play against him.
Okay, thanks.
All right, good. Thanks.
All right, there's Andy Reid, the head coach press conference presented by Greengrass Cattle Company. You can buy their 21-day dry-aged, grass-fed, grain finish from farm to table. Beef from the Weston store online at greengrasscattleco.com. Also brought to you by Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC. Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC offers unbeatable deals and a massive inventory of over 300 new Buick and GMC vehicles. Shop now at robertbrogdon.com. DJ Humphrey's not practicing today. Andy Reid saying we'll see how it goes, take it day by day. So just like last week, he's got a couple variables at that spot, left tackle. If DJ Humphries can't go, those variables being Wanya Morris or Joe Tooney.
Not listed as out, though.
Left tackle.
Not listed as out, so something to keep in mind.
Won't practice today, not listed as out. But Andy Reid saying there are a couple of variables there at that spot. He said Harrison Butker will get a few snaps at practice today as his window can open up for the IR. This is the first week, so he's had his 4 weeks on IR that he's required to stay on there. It's not like they opened up the window, but his window could open up. So he said get a few snaps at practice, and then just try to manage the 3 games in 10 days that give the players the best opportunity. And I thought it interesting when he said he was asked about Mahomes adapting to pressure, right? And he said, he never complains. He goes on to the next one. He hasn't had to really adapt. There's a little more pressure this year. It's spread all over. Everyone has a piece, me included. I have to adapt to personnel and what they do best.
Yeah.
That's something that we've been harping on the last couple of weeks is I don't know how often they can take these 5- and 7-step deep drops with Patrick Mahomes in this offense. You just don't have the time to do that. That's Andy Reid having to adapt to your personnel, and especially a monster like Myles freaking Garrett.
Yeah.
That, good luck if Mahomes is going to take the snap in the shotgun and then drop 7 steps back.
I wonder if we'll see more Patrick under center. We saw one game this year, and I thought the offensive line looked solid.
Yep. Well, speaking of which, here's Patrick Mahomes at the podium.
Against the Chargers, get rid of the ball quickly. You did a nice job of that because of the pressure. Do you feel like you could have played that style of game earlier in your career?
It's hard to say. I think just taking what's there, what the defense has given me, and they obviously have a good pass rush, and I thought guys were getting open quickly. I thought D-Hop did a great job, Trav, Noah, others, and just trying to get the ball in their hands and let them make plays, and it was enough to get the win.
Patrick, when it comes to close games, you guys have been really good at it, especially this year. I don't know if it's like what's the secret or whatever, but you know, a lot of fans when they watch the games, they get a little nervous watching it. But for you, how do you stay so poised and calm in those moments? And what's your message to fans who watch these nervous games?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I'm not on the field, I'm nervous as well. So I mean, I have total confidence in our defense and everything like that. But it's just when it's out of your hands, it's hard to not be a little bit nervous. But I think in the moment when I get opportunities, I try to execute the game plan, execute the play that's in front of me. Not worry about the whole entire drive, and then get us into position to score and win the game, and then rely on my teammates to go out there and win it. And so it's obviously a lot of experience has helped me keep a calm mindset in those moments. But we continue to work and get better and just find ways to win, and whatever way that is, we're good with it.
What is the process of adjusting to pressure, whether there's none of it, whether there's a lot of it, like in game? What's the process of feeling out how that's going and adjusting to it?
Yeah, I think just trying to not take negative plays, finding the soft spots in the pocket, finding opportunities when you want to take shots downfield and opportunities when you need to throw it underneath. And every game's different in this league. I mean, there's a lot of great pass rushers, and you have to just find spots where you can have quiet feet and can execute the offense the way it's supposed to be executed.
So as part of your study, like were you studying Myles Garrett and his moves, for example, which way he like is that part of your study as well?
Yeah, I mean he's just really good. So it's he's pretty much good at everything. So just finding ways to get the ball in my hands whenever when he's rushing, and then whenever we need to take shots down the field, just having extra ways to manipulate his pass rush, or have help with other two people blocking him and stuff like that. But they have a good defensive team, and they have a good football team in general, but especially their defense. And it'll be a great challenge for us, and we have to go out there and play our best football to win.
Almost quietly here, Xavier's had a nice few weeks. What have you sensed has been the difference for his production?
Yeah, I mean he's getting better and better. I think he's just playing with such more confidence. I think it really started in Buffalo, and it's kind of kept getting bigger and bigger as we kind of went throughout the rest of this year. I think as like we said, as I was trying those deep passes and really show off his skill doing that, he's getting open. So just trying to hit him on some of those, but he's showing his versatility and how he's able to work underneath, catch the ball, get yards after catch and stuff like that. And I think he's going to continue to get better and better, which is going to help us going into the postseason.
Patrick, obviously you're focused entirely on just the game, but in any way, do you think preparing for a stretch of 3 games in such a short span? Have you ever encountered anything like that before?
No, I haven't in football. All you can do is focus on the game, at the practice that you have that day. I try to prepare my body all year long for this stretch. That's tailoring my workouts, it's tailoring how you practice and you prepare. And the coaches do a great job of taking care of us with the practice field. I mean, we practice hard as anybody, but they know how to kind of dial it back when we need it. And I think Coach Reed has a great plan going into it, so I'll follow that and focus on this opponent. And then as we go into another short week next week, and then after that, I'll focus on those opponents then.
What was it like when you first saw the schedule come out to see kind of this little layout here?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a good feeling. I mean, I'm excited to play on Christmas, to hopefully get back from what we did last year, but you never want to play this many amount of games in this short of time. It's just not great for your body, but at the end of the day, it's your job, your profession. You have to come to work and do it.
When you go back and look at some of the pressures and hits that you've taken this year, there's lots of reasons for them happening. How many times have you looked and said, listen, maybe I should have done something different. I should have gotten rid of the ball quicker. Because a lot of people just like, well, let's just blame the line or whatever. How often is it something maybe you yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a lot. I mean, there's times where I'm trying to be, like the best word's greedy and trying to take a shot downfield. Or if you look at the kind of the early sacks in this last game, I mean, there was a play in that first third down where I probably just hit Travis and he maybe or maybe not gets the first down, but I'm trying to really hold on to it, and then I rush up in the pocket, trying to make a play and run into a sack. And there's been a good amount of those this year, and that's why I have to continue to work on my feet and finding that soft spot in the pocket, because I think there's multiple times a game where the offensive line's holding up and I'm not trusting my footwork in order to go through my reads and make plays happen. So that's stuff that I work on and continue to work on throughout my career.
By necessity, you guys have rotated tackles this year. What are some things that you're preparing for to make sure Myles Garrett, for example, just doesn't ruin the game this week?
Yeah, I think you have to prepare for it as an entire offense. You have to give him different looks. You can't let him just pass rush over and over again. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year for a reason, man. He's going to win a lot of those matchups. And so we'll throw him change-ups. We'll throw him different pitches that he can hopefully keep his mind racing. But at the end of the day, he's going to make plays happen. And when he starts to win reps or win certain plays, you have to not make him negative plays, get rid of the football, even if that's throwing it away, and live to play another play.
You guys are facing a team that's out of playoff contention, but it looks like they're still fighting hard. You know, they've beaten a couple of really good teams this year. Defensively, besides Garrett, what else are their best parts?
Yeah, they have a lot of great players, I think. I mean, you look at the cornerback position and Denzel Ward. I mean, the linebacker position, they're flying around. Safeties, same as well. And then obviously the defensive line. And then Coach Schwartz does a great job of mixing up coverages, bringing pressure when it's necessary, and then dropping into zone and man coverage when it's necessary. And so it's a really good team. I mean, they were last year. They have a lot of same players from last year's defense that was like number one in the league. So it's a great team with a lot of pride that's going to come in playing hard, especially at home. And we understand it's going to be a great challenge. We're going to play our best football to win.
Sam?
Patrick, how much pride do you take in what you guys have been able to do on third down this year, and how do you identify the reasons for the success you've had?
Yeah, I think just having a good game plan, guys making plays happen in big moments. I think you've seen that in third down and then end of halves and end of games is we guys have executed at a high level. It's just about having that same type of execution throughout the entire game, not just third down, not just into halves. But in the red zone and in the field as well. And I think that's where we're trying to get to, and we have to continue to work to get there.
Nick, Patrick, when you're going through the week with the offensive line on protections and film and that type of stuff, what's kind of that process like throughout the week without giving away exactly?
Yeah, no, we obviously meet through our protection plan meetings throughout the week, and then I have separate meetings with some other offensive linemen, and we talk through just kind of what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and then at the end of the day, we have to go out there and do it. And I think that there's been a lot of great moments. There's been moments that we want back, but that's everybody. That's not just them. That's me. That's every receivers, whoever it is. It's a full group thing, and I think we're trending in the right direction. We just have to keep pushing to get there.
Thanks, Patrick.
All right, there's Patrick Mahomes. You're listening to Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. His press conference brought to you by Xfinity X1. Easily search across live TV, on-demand sports, and your favorite streaming apps to find the best way to watch what you love. Xfinity X1, brought to you by Premier Volvo Cars of Overland Park, the only dealership in Kansas City, only Volvo dealership in Kansas City, where luxury and safety meet. Premier Volvo Cars of Overland Park at 78th and Metcalf, or at premiervolvocarsoverlandpark.com, and brought to you by GEHA. You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA, proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll hear from Nick Bolton and Trey Smith coming up here in just a little bit. Heard from Andy Reid, heard from Patrick Mahomes there. His reaction in seeing the schedule of the 3 games in 10 days said not a good feeling. Said excited to play on Christmas to get back what happened last year, but not great for your body to play 3 games in 10 days. Which is weird because the NFL is all about player safety.
Until it comes to making money.
What are you talking about?
Do you think the Chiefs on Christmas might be the first game they cover in a long time because they have something to prove on that specific day?
No, because the Chiefs win this weekend. Buffalo loses. Pittsburgh loses. They beat Houston next Saturday, and they rest guys against Pittsburgh. And then they treat Denver Week 18 as preseason game number 3. Starters play a half.
Yeah,
take them out at half, and then you get the bye week the next week in the 1 seed. That's how I would play it if that plays to form of Detroit winning, Philly winning, and the Chiefs winning, and then beating Houston next Saturday. The 1 seed would be wrapped up. They would be guaranteed the 1 seed before Christmas, and that would be a nice middle finger to the NFL for scheduling them on Christmas, and Patrick Mahomes is sitting that game.
Yeah, good call.
That would be funny. Like, legit. That would be really funny. If the NFL has to deal with that. And it's Russell Wilson versus Carson Wentz. So,
the Red Rifle would get it done.
100%. Andy Dalton would be there. So.
Well, what's Carson's?
I have no idea.
The Red something.
I'm not sure. But we'll hear from Nick Bolton here in just a little bit. So Nick Bolton will talk today. Being told Trey Smith is under the weather today, so we'll hear from Trey Smith tomorrow on a Thursday with the coordinators and Chris Jones. We'll hear from Trey Smith, but Trey Smith under weather today, so no Trey Smith, but we'll hear from Nick Bolton coming up in just a little bit. But also Patrick Mahomes saying the 3 games in 10 days, he tried to prepare workouts in the offseason for this stretch. Tailoring workouts and different things that he did in the offseason for the 3 games in 10 days. So it's interesting. I don't know how you would do that. Also, you're putting those workouts together in the off season for something that happens in week 15, 16, and 17 of the season.
And also, that's the quarterback, not the offensive, defensive line, the linebackers.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that. That's what I was going to say was the offensive line. Good luck. I mean, that's just going to be so difficult for those guys to bounce back. I mean, Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, you're glad both are back now because
yes, good point.
I mean, the beating those guys will be going through the linebackers, Bolton, Tranquil, Leo, the guys that play 100% of snaps like Justin Reed. I mean, those 3 games in 10 days are going to be brutal for those specific players.
Doesn't it put a little more emphasis to go out there and just beat down Cleveland and get some rest in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Like, legit, don't have another game against an inferior opponent that's coming down to the last-second field goal where –
But they don't try. It's not like that. Like they're going out to try and do that. They try to wax every team. It's just –
do they, though? Do they, though?
Yes, I do. I don't think they wanted to keep the Panthers around or the Raiders around.
I think they used just enough gas to get to the finish line. I think they just take the foot off the pedal. Let's
just the exact amount of gas that they need to go to. They got to go. They got to go to Columbia. We're putting 130 miles in here.
We got 2 laps left. I got enough gas to get me 2 laps. Okay,
yeah.
I can't rev it up, right? I can't try to pull this around the outside. I just got to take it steady, put it on cruise control, just enough. But this would be a nice game. Again, not like they don't try, but this would be a nice game for them to get a sizable lead in the fourth quarter. Get Chris Jones out of the game, get Bolton out of the game, get Reed, some of those secondary players out of the game, Patrick out of the game, Kelsey out of the game, and let those guys rest their bodies because they have been playing a career high or close to number of snaps this year that they're pacing for, and you can't be Chris Jones and Karlaftis and Travis Kelsey and play 85% of the snaps in 3 games in 10 days.
No.
You're asking to be injured. You're asking for your legs to be tired and try to push off and plant, and the muscle that usually would stand up in that moment is just a little bit worn down. And there you go.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And that's what you have to – and that's why take care of business. Hopefully Detroit and Philly take care of business and end it against Houston and rest against Pittsburgh. Here's Nick Bolton.
You guys, I felt like finished the game a little bit stronger this time against the Chargers. Talk about how the defense is progressing and how you guys feel ahead there.
Yeah, I think Coach Bash was real big this last week on one series at a time. We did that in the first half. We kind of let some plays get away from us a little bit in the third quarter, and they ended up forcing the field at the end when we needed to. I think the group is steadily getting better, steadily on the incline. Some small things we can clean up, like penalties, stuff like that, getting them free yardage. But other than that, though, I like where we're at, I like where we're going.
Nick, you mentioned first half to second half. In your mind, what was the difference in some of the second half woes compared to the first half?
Yeah, I think when we looked at the sheet after the game, we looked at the run plays. I think they got a higher win rate in the second half than they did in the first half. I think we did a very good job in first, second down, getting them 3rd and longs. And the second half, we didn't do that as well.
What's it been like having Charles Omenihu back in the mix, in front of you as you guys are operating, especially against the pass?
Yeah, definitely add some versatility to our rush, moving around different places. He's a tall guy, him and Chris together. So it causes have for a shorter quarterback, especially in the middle of the pocket. But you're going to keep moving him around, figure out things you have to do. He's been out for a while, so he's kind of on the short end in terms of just kind of see what he wants to do and stuff like that. But I think Coach Badger is going to continue to evolve his role as the season progresses.
Nick, what do you see from Jameis Winston?
Yeah, quarterback, he can sling the ball around. He's been doing that for a very long time. I think he's doing a great job of keeping his feet alive in the pocket, moving around in the pocket, giving his receivers a chance to get open, man, and find an open guy. I think earlier in the year, when I watched early in the tape, he was kind of force-feeding a couple guys, but now he's kind of equal opportunity guy. The tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, number 3's having a hell of the last 5-6 games. So yeah, he's spreading the ball around.
And whenever you're in this type of cold weather, you may not be able to hit as much and tackle as much, especially against teammates, as you would in camp. How do you kind of be able to keep that tackle mentality in this type of cold weather? Yeah,
we do a great job of finding different ways, whether it be a bag, shield, something like that, to kind of just get our pad level down and kind of stay on the front end of that. But yeah, man, when it comes to tackle playing football, man, I think you put some stock in that thing since training camp, and once you know how to tackle, man, you just got to get him on the ground.
We know Nick Chubb came back from that injury, and as you kind of reviewed the film, how has he looked in your opinion, especially coming off that?
Yeah, I think early when he first came back, he was kind of filling it out, man, but now he's trying to kind of get his footing a little bit. You can kind of tell with his cuts, his vision, and all those things are still there. I think before he got hurt, he was on the way of being a Hall of Fame running back, and yeah, kind of injuries kind of halted that a little bit, man, but you can still see those great things that he has with the ball in his hands.
Do you watch any of the Jameis Winston press conferences, his interviews?
No, I kind of been watching Hard Knocks recently, so I've kind of heard a little bit of his pregame speeches and stuff like that, man. But yeah, I'm proud of him just being him. You know what I'm saying? He's an individual. He kind of owns that he's okay with himself, and it kind of shows that and kind of shows that to his teammates.
Anything else? Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, there's Nick Bolton catching up on Hard Knocks to see. You know what, Jameis Winston, he's himself. He's comfortable being himself, which is, it's a nice way to put it. He's very comfortable being himself. There you go. They're the press conference today. We heard from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Nick Bolton there. We are hanging out at ADA Fundraising. Awesome spot. Look, it's the holiday season, and if you've got some people on your Christmas gift list and they are sports fans, this is a great opportunity for you. One time a year for a few days that they open up their doors, 4 days only, Wednesday through Saturday. Once a year open house starting at 10 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. You've got signed items from Chiefs and local colleges and other players and teams across the leagues. You've got many different cool types of autographs, programs from Super Bowls, and they've got the replica rings here. They've got a Vince Lombardi replica trophy signed by Patrick Mahomes. They've got jerseys and bats and baseballs and baseball cards and helmets and mini helmets and anything else you can think of. It's ADA and seat backs from Arrowhead Stadium that are autographed by a lot of the seat back from LIV. It's seat number LIV from Super Bowl LIV signed by a good portion of that team, including
Andy Reid,
Mahomes
Patrick
and
Mahomes,
Kelce. Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Looks like Javarius Ward right there, one of my favorite players. If you
Nick Bolton.
Wow.
Sneed.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Just looking at the different numbers. Breland had an interception in that game.
Yeah, he's up there in the top left. Frank Clark.
Frank Clark.
That's A55 right there.
Clark the Shark, baby.
Man, this is
blood in the water.
Awesome.
This is blood in the water.
And also they have something for almost every single price range.
Yeah, that's true. Good
Every
call.
single era, generation. If you are a more old school baseball fan, you want a Willie Wilson jersey, which I've been eyeing because I think that's absolutely awesome. That's up there, the top left. George Brett cutoff, which is looks like a one of one. I don't know how many George Brett cutoffs you got, but there's rocking one up there. Emmitt Thomas, Jan Stenerud, Drew Lock, Hunter Dickinson, Devin Neal.
I've always thought
Deuce
of
Vaughn.
Jan Stenerud, Emmitt Thomas, Lynn Dawson, and Drew Lock in the same sentence.
Same sentence.
Yeah, not very often do you mention those guys in that particular order. So, but yeah, you did, because these jerseys that are hanging up there, and KU jerseys, K-State jerseys up there, and again, different other sports memorabilia, autographed bats.
That Bobby Witt Jr.
pictures.
bat really is drawing my
beautiful.
eye. And I don't know if you saw the Alex Gordon one.
Yes.
The Gordon one, 8-time Gold Glover, 15 World Series champs, and then signed by Gordo on that bat. I mean, that thing is also
legit.
pretty big bat. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, just look how thick it is compared to even like Bobby's. Gordon was swinging a big. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
No, he was. I mean, I don't know what the size and that his bat was. I mean, it wasn't like Babe Ruth swinging a tree trunk back in the day.
Which I feel like is a little bit overblown.
No,
I looked at
actual tree trunks.
he used a 54-inch or ounce bat like one time, and that was like, we'll use that for every at bat.
We also used a 54-inch bat too. Okay, so can you imagine if he used a 54-inch bat? That's like I said, he's swinging a tree trunk up there. But yeah, they've got something for everything. They also have these cool mystery bags. So they got a mini helmet mystery bag and a jersey mystery bag. And in these mystery bags, in the mini helmets, are exactly what it sounds like. They are signed mini helmets that you don't know who you're going to get. They are all one price. But the cool part about this is that you might get a Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce, and the Travis Kelce Patrick Mahomes mini helmet is not the price of the mystery bag, is what if you know what I'm saying. So it's so you open those up, and that's pretty cool.
You might get a Carl Loftus, which is also pretty darn cool.
But you put that under the tree, and you and the person you're gifting it to can both act like you're opening a present, because you also don't know what is in there. That's great. They also have the mystery bags of the jerseys. where they've got tons and tons of jerseys, and they stock them pretty good with, look, I mean, the jersey mystery bags has Mahomes and Kelsey and Pacheco and Bolton and Karlaftis and a lot Reed and Tony Gonzalez and Christian Okoye, Lynn Dawson, Jan Stennard, Willie Lanier, McDuffie and Drew Tranquil and Rashee Rice, and on and on and on. There's about 15 other different names that might be in these mystery bags with the jersey mystery bags, and they stock them pretty good, not with some Mahomes and some Kelseys and things like that in there. So that's pretty cool as well, because, again, you know, you're paying for the mystery bag with the jersey. You don't know what you're going to get, and you give that as a gift, and, hey, you get to find out as well at the same time with that. But really cool spot. Again, the one time a year that they open up their doors, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside, right across from Park Hill South, is our location today until 2 o'clock. They're open till 7, tomorrow 10 to 7, Friday 10 to 7, and Saturday 10 to 7. Curtis Siebel will be here tomorrow afternoon with the program. New Day, SSJ will be here Friday afternoon hanging out as well as they have these doors open, and a great opportunity for you guys to come down and check it out, buy some things that you will only see at auctions. And these are the things that you're seeing in here that'll show up to different charity auctions, and you get a chance to just simply buy it here for 4 days every year. These 4 days: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling, get into what we heard from Andy Reid, what we heard from Patrick Mahomes. We will hang out with Mick Schaefer in the 1 o'clock hour. He's going to be down here, up here, over here, whichever, however, wherever you're located in the Kansas City area. But he'll be here today, hanging out with us in the 1 o'clock hour, also doing his Christmas shopping here today.
Welcome to the club, Mick.
That's exactly right. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. Fundraising today on into Saturday. They are open where you can come down and get all these cool sports memorabilia, collectibles for sports fans in your life or yourself. A lot of conversation starters in here.
For the sports fan in your life, myself, I will buy it for myself.
That's exactly right. Yes, I'm the sports fan.
I
in my
am
life.
the sports fan.
That's right. But they are open today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 o'clock at night. We'll be here till 2 o'clock. But, again, the only place you find these things are at auctions, and they have opened up their doors. They do it 4 days a year. These are the 4 days, and you can come down and purchase a lot of these sports memorabilia and collectibles at the price and not have to deal with the auction and getting outbid or trying to get at the last second on the silent auction online and then trying to bid up, and then you did or did not win that particular. And plus, in those auctions, there are only certain things that are there that you get to choose from. Here, you walk in and it's wall to wall.
You were greeted by gloriousness.
Yeah, jerseys, helmets, baseballs, footballs, bats, mini helmets, pictures framed, baseball, football cards, all of that. It's here at ADA, so you could probably find something that you would want for yourself or somebody else. I don't know. It's really up to you. 913-912-4810. Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes both talking. We mentioned DJ Humphries is not practicing today. Andy Reid saying that they will take it day by day. Did not rule him out for this week, but it's also not great that he's not practicing. But it could be a precautionary thing that, the MRI comes back and said, let's take it slow this week, see how you respond, see how you feel on Thursday and Friday after not practicing on Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and guess that with these 3 games, 10 days, that they're probably not going to have him play this weekend against Cleveland.
Sure.
Maybe not even against Houston.
Where do you think the Chiefs, again, this is all hypothetical at this point because we don't know, so we don't have to spend a long time on this, but who do you think they would go to at left tackle if DJ Humphries is not good to go on Sunday?
I think that's going to be the biggest question because I don't. I wouldn't play. If I'm a Chiefs fan right now, I'm not planning on DJ Humphries playing.
Sure. So
I'm looking at it going, what do they do without DJ Humphries? And it's, do you go Wanya Morris or do you simply go Joe Thuney and Caliendo?
Where do you go?
Against Myles Garrett, it's not a great choice.
No.
Because, Joe Thuney's arms aren't necessarily that long. I mean, he doesn't have T-Rex arms, but, Myles Garrett is going to reach out and be able to control really whoever's out there, whether that be Wanya or King. Like, it's just not a great matchup. You're going to have to keep somebody in, whether that be a tight end, maybe even a running back too. I don't know.
Just put Kingsley and Wanya. You'll have Kingsley line up as tight end too, as a tight end, and then
they go 12 personnel with Kingsley as a tight end.
Yes,
reporting as eligible every single play.
What am I? Am I wrong here? Am I taking crazy pills?
No, you're not. But you are. Yes, both wrong and taking crazy pills.
Yeah, thinking outside the box. Yeah.
Who do I trust more? Joe Thuney. And I'd rather have the better left tackle than the better left guard. And so if I have my choice of, do I have a stud left guard and a subpar / bad left tackle, or do I have somebody that's passable at left tackle and a bad left guard? I'll take the guy that it's at least passable at left tackle in Joe Thuney, but he is going to be playing out of position. So, how good is he going to be? And I always worry about a guy that is not, his body isn't necessarily trained for those same moves, techniques, kick, step, drop the way that you would as a tackle with injury in that. And we saw, I don't know if this is correlation causation, but Lucas Niang, right tackle. Orlando Brown messes up his calf before the Bengals game. Lucas Niang moves to left tackle, meniscus injury. A couple of drives into that. And then Joe Thuney played left tackle in that game because of that.
Yeah.
Because Niang was your right tackle, and they moved him over to left. And now everything you've been practicing, you do the exact opposite, messes up his. So if I can avoid that at all costs, that'd be great. But how much time is Mahomes going to have to throw if Wanya Morris is out there against Myles Garrett?
So just a couple of background info here, and it's kind of making my decision. Are arm length is something you brought up.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not the end-all, be-all, but there is clearly a mold that the Chiefs traditionally go for in tackles. It's also why a lot of times guys go from tackle to guard from college to the NFL. It's because of arm length.
About 34 inches, something like that.
So Joe Tooney is 32 and a quarter.
Yeah, that's
32 and a quarter. Wanye Morris is 35 and an eighth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 34 is like passable. Like
Yes.
33, 34 is like passable. Anything over that, you're like, okay, yeah, that's you've got that as sort of in your column of things that you got going for you.
But the issue with Wanye is it doesn't help when you're just doing this one-arm punch and you're missing. Arm length does not matter when you're not touching the guy.
Yeah.
So, again, I wonder how much of the past 2 weeks, not last week, but the 2 weeks prior of the disaster that was Wanye Morris at left tackle, how much of that was injury-related? That's not been brought up a ton with the bone bruise. You and I mentioned it briefly in passing. We talked about it in the game that he came out of and Kingsley Suamataia had to go into. Like, he is going through and fighting through a bone bruise. So I wonder how much of that affected his play, trying to play through it, because knowing that, hey, Kingsley's not an option back there anymore. It's basically me. If not me, then we're doing a whole bunch of shuffling on the offensive line. Because the last 2 starts of Wanye Morris were by far his worst 2 starts. I think he was passable. He was fine. I didn't say good. I didn't say he was great. I didn't even say above average, but I think he was fine the majority of the season. Then those past 2 weeks happened, and he was a train wreck. And I wonder how much of that was the injury or in his head. Does he come back if he's the starting left tackle this upcoming week if DJ is out? Did that week off help him? I know he had to go into the end of the game there, but did that week off let him get at least a little healthier? Did that let him get his mind right? We'll see, but I guess if it were me, I would still probably start the game if DJ's out with Wanye Morris. Maybe I'm alone on this hill. It's not a hill that I'm feeling extremely strong about. I'm not going to argue with anyone who feels a different way, but I think there's ways you can talk yourself into still Wanye Morris being the right answer, at least the best answer with DJ Humphries if he is to miss.
I wonder if DJ Humphries were to be injured in the first quarter, second quarter last week, what they would have done, as opposed to DJ Humphries being injured right before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
And, all right, all you got to do is finish this drive, kick a field goal, and you win. So are we going to bring in Caliendo and move Joe Tooney to left tackle for these next 5-6 plays, or we're going to bring in Wanye Morris to play left tackle for these next 5 or 6 plays? We'll figure out how to do that. First quarter, second quarter, we're going to Joe Tooney at left tackle. Like, I don't know what that decision would have been. It would help color my decision this week, or my opinion this week, on what I think they'll do if they would have had 2 or 3 quarters without DJ Humphries. What decision they made there, probably the decision they go with against Cleveland. If you bring in Wanye Morris in the second quarter, if DJ Humphries messes up his hamstring then I would say Wanye Morris is probably your guy against, at least to start against Cleveland. Your backup is going to be, all right, he can't get it done. We're moving Joe Tooney out there to left tackle. With Wanye starting, you at least have a fallback plan.
Yes.
So if Joe Tooney, if Wanya's starting and struggling, we're going to move Tooney out there and bring in Caliendo. If Joe Tooney's at left tackle and Caliendo's at left guard and you're still getting eaten alive, you don't have a fallback plan.
Correct.
You're not going to then Wanye Morris to say, all right, Myles Garrett is killing us. Let's go get Wanye Morris out there. That's just not the case. So I don't know if maybe they go to, we're going to go more traditional with playing our offense. We're going to try to give help when it's there as often as we can. I don't know.
Which I think you
play,
still have to with Joe Tooney either way.
Yes, you should do it every single play with Myles Garrett, whether that be a tight end chipping or if it's a running back, things like that. Give them help and go traditional, and then if it's not working, okay, we adjust from there. I'm probably starting the game with what I think would be my best 5 offensive linemen. And my best 5 offensive linemen include Joe Tooney at left tackle and Caliendo at left guard, rather than Wanye at left tackle against Myles Garrett.
So so you and I are a little differing viewpoints here.
Yeah,
and I think the majority of fans probably agree with you. By the way,
yeah, but it's not a great choice though. That's the problem that you're in right now with the Chiefs. That's the issue you run into when you did a placeholder last year with Donovan Smith, and then you go into the offseason and you didn't have an answer at left tackle for more than a placeholder.
Well,
it was hoping Wanye Morris or hoping Kingsley
I don't
be able
disagree
to go week 1
with Veach. I don't disagree with the thought process. It was almost like wide receiver last year, where I don't hate the thought process, but the results were obviously disastrous. Of course, we're saying disastrous as they won a Super Bowl. There's levels to this. There's some nuance with it. But same thing. They had Kingsley and Wanya, and they said who was going to win out in training camp, OTAs, and preseason. Well, it was Kingsley Suamataia. I was fine giving those two guys. Let's be real. Donovan Smith, or a veteran, wasn't wanting to come into St. Joe. Let's be real. You don't want him eating into the snaps of Wanya or Kingsley as far as development goes.
If they wanted him, he'd be here now.
Agreed.
DJ Humphries is in Kansas City, not Donovan Smith. So clearly they weren't in the Donovan Smith market.
I did not hate the thought process, and for the majority of the season, I think it was okay. It's been the past 3 or 4 where it's really taken a steep downturn of, okay, this is not sustainable. I don't know if it's the amount of games played. Again, Wanya Morris, when you play college football, you're not playing 18, 19, 20 games, right? That's a lot more. I don't have a huge issue with the thought process. It's been the results, and so I don't want to get angry now and be, in my opinion, a revisionist.
Yeah.
When I was cool with what they went in with.
And I'll go back to what I said at the time, because it would come off as revisionist now. Because at the time, my view was, if you keep having a placeholder, then when are you going to find out if you have your answer at left tackle? So is it Wanya Morris? Is it Kingsley? They feel good about Kingsley Suamataia. They were thinking about trading up. They had to stop themselves from trading up to go get Kingsley in the second round, or at least that's what Brett Veach told Kingsley, that Andy Reid was nervous, and every pick that came in was getting more and more nervous that Kingsley was going to be selected. That's how badly they wanted him. They get him in there. They think he's good enough to start week number 1 at left tackle. And if you keep going placeholder, maybe you had your answer at left tackle with Wanya or Kingsley. So at the time, yeah, I'm okay with figuring this out if you've got Donovan Smith or somebody else on speed dial if it doesn't work out. That was part of the conversation that we had. And you get into late in the season, and the answer is DJ Humphries. The problem is DJ Humphries clearly wasn't ready to play 100% of the snaps. He almost got there, but the final drive messes up his hamstring and wasn't ready to play 100% of the snaps, because now I'm going to go ahead and guess he ain't playing this weekend, okay? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I don't want to be revisionist history and go, well, this was dumb and we said it all along, because you do have to figure out what you have in the left tackle. You're going for a three-peat, and it's a third-rounder and a second-rounder that you're spending on that left tackle spot to try to find your answer there. And it hasn't worked so far. And now you got to figure out what to do the rest of the year. And what do you do the rest of the year without DJ Humphries this week? Or what do you do the rest of the year if DJ Humphries is healthy? Well, there you go. DJ Humphries is your left tackle. But if he's not healthy right now, how do you get through this year, hopefully get through New Orleans in February with a win, and then go into the offseason and reassess everything? Now you know exactly what you have in Kingsley. You know exactly what you have in Wanya. And this happened to him last year with Wanya. For whatever reason, the more games he played, the worse the numbers were, and the grading was. And maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's other teams seeing what Wanya do. Okay, this guy punches with one hand all the time. Okay, well, that's going to be easy. We'll get used to that. Here's my plan for my pass rush against this guy. Maybe it's that. I have no idea if that's the case. But as this season has gone along, the grades have progressively been, worse and worse this year for Wanya Morrison. So we'll see what they do. But against Cleveland, I'm going to go in and take care of business. And I'll go Joe Thuney at left tackle, Caliendo at left guard. But I'm also tailoring my offense to that. So I'm not having 7-step drops out of the shotgun.
Correct.
I'm not taking these deeper drops and waiting in the pocket and letting some things develop. I am getting the ball out of my hands. I'm running the football. That's what I'm going to do, too. I'm giving it to Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Run the football and get these short, intermediate passes. Put the ball in the hands of playmakers. Let them go and make plays and get out of Cleveland, hopefully, with a double-digit win. And in the fourth quarter, you give guys a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect scenario. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling more zone next.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason's out here looking at all the incredible things at ADA as now he's coming back.
Well, you know what? But look, man, I'm getting lost in figuring out what I want to give as a present to my wife.
It's also one of the shorter songs,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh shoot, I gotta rock this. I yelled
Yeah.
at Jason in here. You don't yell fire, obviously, in certain places, but yelling Jason's kind of like a fire.
I've got the gift that you've always wanted. I've got you that George Brett autographed bat. And how about we just keep it in the man cave where we both can enjoy it? So Merry Christmas, honey. So I don't want this. Oh, you sure? I'll take it then. That's fine. If you don't want it, it's the thought that counts, though, right?
It was your power gift.
It's the thought that counts, you know?
I also got you socks.
Didn't Homer Simpson get Marge a bowling ball engraved with Homer Simpson on it? And well, I'll take it then. If you don't want it, I'll take it. Luckily, I engraved my name on it already.
You know what getting older is like, though? It's realizing that socks are a great Christmas gift. That's the ultimate getting older. That's when you know, because I made that joke, and I go, you know what, though?
I'll take some socks.
I'll take some socks. Yeah, I'll take some socks.
Some warmer socks, too. You know, it's getting a little cold.
Yeah, I got these ones. I got these little thick boys on.
Oh, yeah, with your working boots.
I've been working. I've been doing stuff around the house.
Timberlands on?
I've had these for 9 years.
Okay. Well,
Sorry that you don't know what a hard day's work looks like, Jason.
Yeah, I do not. Not at all. I baled hay one time, and that was it.
I noticed there wasn't a second time.
Darn right. It was not a second time, man. I have so much more respect for, farmers and people that do that, man. It was one day.
That's why I drink Busch Light.
It was one
for
day.
the farmers.
My fraternity brother tricked me as much as you could be. He's like, yeah, we'll just be out there, we'll bale some hay, and he'll pay you like $300 for the 2 days. I'm like, are you serious? Hell yeah! In college, like $300 is amazing.
That's 15 cases of Busch Light. No, I know the math.
For me, I mean, that's 15, 20, 100 cases of something. I don't know, but it ain't beer. I know that. I give that $300 now. I can get that George Brett bat. I'll eventually give to my wife in the future. So we go
Smart man.
We go out to his farm in Richmond, man, and I see this field that has all of these hay bales, right? And he's like, yeah, we got to do this. I'm like, all right. So we're going through. And we're putting them all on the tractor and everything, and then we take them to the barn, and we take them out and we stack them up and everything. I'm like, all right, cool, we're getting close, right? We get done with this field, and I'm like, all right, cool. And he goes, we're not done yet. I'm like, that field is done. He goes, all of those fields. And you start looking around at the horizon, and I'm like, I'm gonna fight you. And he goes, dude, this entire barn is gonna be filled to the top. And it felt like it was a 50-yard barn, and we had done one stack, and I was just like, "I'm gonna fight you, dude. This you misrepresented what this $300 was gonna entail. All right, I have never been more sore and tired in my life, dude. And I'm like, dude, you do this for free? He's like, I got to, man. It's my dad's like, he ain't paying me. Like, I was like, and you do this all the time? Like, this is terrible. Like, oh my God, man. No one. That's why I'm going into radio.
Former Anderson.
Dude, man, I did that. I'm like, man, this is a different life, man. That's a hard day's work. I earned that $300. That $300 was as hard of $300.
What'd you spend it on?
I don't even know. Maybe ice and massages. That's what I spent.
You didn't drink before. You drank after.
My hands were all blistered up. I had the gloves, but all blistered up from the wire that you're picking up the bales and everything. Man, I'm like,
do you move like 2 bales of hay and you go, that's enough?
Oh, dude,
family reunion. We moved hay from the barn to make some an obstacle course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I moved
as one does during family reunions.
Oh yeah, have you seen the family reunions, the obstacle courses where with like a slip and slides and people break their ribs and the toddler in a wheelbarrow and the toddlers you run with them.
The toddler breaking the ribs?
No, the toddler didn't. It was a man who dove. He wanted to win. He didn't win. So that was kind of an insult to injury. You get tires too, and I may have got a little bit of tetanus or something. It's possible. And then we were hauling hay bales over from the barn where the horses were to where we were going to do this. I moved them like 2 bales of hay, and I go, this sucks.
I'm done.
We had a golf cart too, and I still said that.
Dude, I could not believe it, man. That's so much respect for those farmers and those working the land, man. It's just unbelievable. And that's why I do this, is to hopefully entertain those that may be listening while they're doing that work.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you know why?
Why?
We're soft.
Speak for yourself, okay? These hands are calloused to a degree.
That is butter, dude.
I know, right? You want to know the maybe the smallest I've ever felt in my life is when I met my father-in-law for the first time, before he was my father-in-law. So met him for the first time. Mind you, this guy was a truck driver for 40 years, hauling trucks all over the country, right? I shook his hand with my soft, buttery hands.
Baby hands.
And his hand was like sandpaper. And I felt so small because I'm like, that dude's put in a hard day's work every day for 40 years. That guy's been, truck breaks down. You're doing all the work on it, man. Everything he's doing when he's home and everything, all the stuff around the house and living out in the, just like, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I do radio. I talk for a living.
These calluses? No. Golf. Golf. No, I don't. I can see how it's landscaping. No, it's
if you
golf.
could only shake hands with the vocal cords, you'd see how calloused those were. Tough, hard days' work of just yapping about nothing. We'll take a timeout, come back, and we'll do that with Mick Schaefer on the other side of the break, as he'll be here hanging out at ADA Fundraising with us until 2 o'clock. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour, we'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour until 2 o'clock. We're hanging out at ADA Fundraising today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Their doors are open from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And coming up on Saturday, they will have Brady Cook here in attendance, and he'll be doing an autograph signing for those Mizzou fans out there. So
yeah, baby.
Brady Cook will be here before getting set for that Music City Bowl against Iowa.
Maybe the most underrated. You're going to look back in about 10 years and say Brady Cook may have been the most underrated quarterback in Mizzou history.
Yeah, the numbers that he put up and where he finished in his career numbers with rushing yards and passing yards and touchdowns and things like that. I think one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in Mizzou history was James Franklin.
Agreed.
But, Brady Cook will be here, not James Franklin. Brady Cook on Saturday here at ADA Fundraising. We're here till 2. More Zone next. True. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. We are at ADA Fundraising, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside, where we are at today until 2. They're open till 7 today, tomorrow 10 to 7, Friday 10 to 7, Saturday 10 to 7. They open up their doors 4 days a year. These are the 4 days that they open them up with all of these great sports collectibles, memorabilia, autographs, really cool conversation starters, centerpieces for your collection. It's an awesome spot. These are the things you see at a lot of these charity auctions, and only 4 days a year that they open up, and you can come in and just simply purchase this vast array and collection of all of these different autographs, jerseys, pictures, helmets, mini helmets, footballs, basketballs, baseballs, baseball bats, you name it. They've got it. Seats. They've got it here at ADA Fundraising, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside, where we are at today. Mick Schaefer is also hanging out with us as well. Mick, what's up, brother? Hey, guys, what's going on? This is not turning up here. Is this going to turn up?
Slowly.
Hello.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah. I kept turning it, and it kept bouncing back to the bottom there. It would go from 1
didn't
to
want Mick to talk.
8.
You turn me up, turn me down, turn me on.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Just make sure you turn me on.
Yes.
In the words of Autograph, turn up the radio.
That's it.
Speaking of autographs, we're here at ADA Fundraising, 112 Northwest Parkway in Riverside. Mick, I always make sure that you know we're out here on these remotes so you can do your Christmas shopping too.
This is like 3 or 4 years in a row I've come out here, right?
Pretty legit.
And I have done Christmas shopping out here.
We've always done it on a Friday.
Yeah.
This is the first time we haven't been here on a Friday, and I'm like, well, if we can't do it on a Friday, let's do Wednesday.
Yeah.
That was for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was for you.
I would arrive any day of the week, really.
But you're already supposed to be here Wednesday.
That's true. I'm always I'm distracted most of the times I'm on the show, but this one, out here at ADA, I don't know what you're saying at all. Has Sterling talked yet? I can't hear. I don't know. I'm zoned out.
That's right. Well, you get zoned in because you're here
in the zone.
Brady Cook will be here on Saturday.
Oh, let's go.
At 3 o'clock doing an autograph signing as he gets ready for the
He
Music City
wouldn't
Bowl.
be an underappreciated quarterback because he's still the quarterback now. If you just started appreciating him right now,
I appreciate
right, start rate him higher now, so he won't be underrated in the future.
I appreciate
There's still time.
that. I'm saying, though, in the pantheon of Missouri quarterbacks, which luckily enough, Missouri has had some pretty darn good quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Gary
a lot.
Pinkel never got that wrong. Never got that position wrong, did he?
He would coach up 2 and 3 stars everywhere else, but quarterback would be a dude, right? And so far, again, fairly short, but Eli's been pretty much the opposite. It's let's try and coach up quarterback, and we'll have 4 and a few 5s elsewhere, although a 5-star did recently transfer, which we're not going to talk about because it makes me sad. But yeah, I mean,
Summit North.
Yeah.
But when you go from Blaine Gabbert and Drew Lock and Chase Daniel, it's hard to live up, and even Brad Smith to an extent with what he James Franklin's another underappreciated guy.
Let's go.
So Brady Cook was really good, and then you compare him to maybe Chase and Blaine and Drew, in which you're seeing a lot of signatures, a lot of Drew Locks around here as well. Yep. It's tough. Even with the success that Missouri had, and I think a lot of folks, myself included early on, last year was really the first time where the narrative changed on Brady, where you started to say, he actually might be a game changer. He might be someone who you look back on in a few years and realize what he actually meant for this program. And then you look at where he ranks all time in yards and touchdowns and just everything. And he's like top 3, top 5 in almost every quarterback statistic for Missouri. You look back and go, he did have a pretty damn good career again for a Missouri kid as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and he's one of those kids that grew up wanting to play
Yes.
for the team, and you can see that. He was in the hospital, guys, okay? Then he left the hospital and went and won a football game for Mizzou. That'll go down in lore.
Big football game for them to win, too. They even get to a chance to get to double figures. They needed to win that game, and he returns and leads them to a victory. So, yeah, there's a lot of things around Brady Cook that are to be appreciated, and he'll be here at ADA Fundraising on Saturday, 3 o'clock. You can buy tickets at shopmosports.com or at the door, day of the signing. So it's shopmosports.com or here at ADA.
Here's what I like, too. He's going to come, and he's going to only need to sign Missouri stuff because that's the only school he's been.
That's a good point.
If they brought Alan Bowman from Oklahoma State, he could say Oklahoma State stuff, Michigan stuff, Texas Tech stuff, wherever he's going to spend his 9th year of eligibility next year.
Cam Ward, who, by the way, or no, Cam Rising.
How about Dylan Gabriel?
Gabriel.
I got some UCF stuff.
Cam Rising, I believe, is the same age as Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I did that.
He's like 25.
He is. He is 25. He's almost 26. He'll be 26 before next season starts in May. I mean,
what was he? Was he Texas then Utah?
He's been named a school. But I was going to say, Nicholas St. Mick. If you look up there, that has your name on it. It's the George Brett cutoff jersey.
No, it says George Brett.
Schaefer.
His name is Mick,
2 F's
or John.
Yeah.
It says Brett.
Sleeveless signed. I've never seen that.
Yes,
George Brett.
That's
jersey.
called a one of a kind. But you like popping the top off sometimes. You're a big summer guy.
I think you're maybe looking in a mirror right now.
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, that Lombardi is very shiny, so I actually am looking at myself. But the cutoffs, you like letting your arms free. I've seen you wear a few tank tops.
Yeah.
That George Brett signed sleeveless jersey is something I picture you in.
Do you? I don't know. I like the Golden Girls tank tops and not like a signed George Brett thing that was worth $300 to wear to the Western Shawnee Pool and spill beer on.
But you'd look pretty cool doing it.
Good point. Can I have two?
Conversation starter. That's what
Conversation
it is.
starter.
Look at this.
I don't think they have two. I don't know if George Brett ever signed
This place has started a
sleeveless.
conversation for 4 hours today. This is the 4th straight hour of conversation that this place has started.
Boy, you are not wrong. You're not wrong about that at all. Mick Schaefer is hanging out with us here. DJ Humphreys is not practicing today. Not a surprise. Andy Reid saying they'll take it day by day. That's the news there. Bill Belichick is now the North Carolina head coach.
It's official?
It's official.
Oh, my gosh.
Belichick is a Tar Heel, North Carolina. Sorry about that, Dylan. Thank you for hitting that. The Boston Red Sox have traded for Garrett Crochet. Max Fried signed with the New York Yankees.
There's a bill that would make flag planting at Ohio State a felony because they're soft.
What if they plant the flag
else?
What if they plant a the flag?
They are soft. That's
the most Charmin Ultra of all Charmin Ultra songs.
Even Ohio State fans are not happy with that.
Texas is getting the 15-yard penalty for horns down. That's pretty soft.
You
shouldn't do that to us. We don't understand that. That's just ridiculous that people would.
That'd be if Florida fans were like, if you ever chomped at them, there'd be an automatic penalty, which Florida fans at least have thick skin because they're Gators. They're
Here's
Gators.
when you lose the argument, right? As college sports fans, we go back and forth about everything, and it's always these inane arguments. It's so dumb, and everybody acts like everybody else, but you're wearing your colors and all that stuff. You lose the argument when you go to a legislature. Right? When you go to try to make laws, when you go to the government to try to, hey, can you do this for us? You're over. Whoever, in this case, Michigan, I'm on your side, which I wasn't before. I'm like, Michigan, you're kind of, you can't like plant a flag like, oh, I can't believe these guys reacted. Now I'm back to Michigan's side on it. They won the argument.
They won't be planting a flag in 2 years, though. I know that, unless they want to get arrested.
So it's going to happen? It's going to be a felony?
I have no idea.
Well, I doubt it passes.
Define plant.
The
right?
bill,
I mean, was there soil there?
The bill has been proposed.
Fertilizer?
Do you actually want the definition? Because they have the definition.
No, I want to hear this.
No person.
There's no potting.
No person shall plant a flagpole with a flag attached to it in the center of the field at Ohio Stadium of the Ohio State University on the day of a college football competition, whether before, during, or after the competition. Whoever violates this section is guilty of a felony of the 5th degree. So
What is planting, though? Is it sticking it in the ground count as planting?
Also,
it
just
says
do it
center.
Do it at the 40-yard line.
Do it on the, 49.
Exactly 49. Technically.
Not the center.
No.
It's like the Miranda rights not being read. I mean, you get off scot clean. That's
a
that's
5th degree felony is the least severe in Ohio and carries a penalty of 6 to 12 months in prison, up to $2,500 fine, and up to 5 years probation. So it might just be like a $2,500 fine for the school, most likely.
I wish it was a home game next year and they would have lost and they could try to give somebody a 5th degree felony because it would be their 5th straight loss to Michigan. So that would have been perfect for that to happen. What if you plant a "the" in the middle? Are they okay with just the word "the"? The right in the middle. on game day.
You'll be better if the and it's crossed out with an X.
Nope, can't do that. That is a felony. That is a felony, sir. That's you do not do that. Okay, you don't take away that word from
a flagpole with a flag attached to it. But if you just do a flagpole, no flag, that can also go in the center.
They need to bring that. They need to bring that giant banner that they do for Michigan home games, and that everyone jumps up and taps before the game, and then bring that to Ohio State, because technically that's not a single flag. That's two, and it's a banner. So.
Yeah, and didn't the flag get ripped off the pole too?
Yeah.
So therefore, you can just go right back and put the pole in the ground.
Because these sound more like
I planted the pole, then I put the flag on top of it.
Yes. Because these sound like ands, not or.
Mm-hmm. So the felony wouldn't be for planting the flag. You can't get because you planted a pole.
Yeah.
And that's not a felony. And then I placed
things.
the flag on the pole, which is not a felony because I am not getting a felony for putting a flag on an already planted flagpole.
Yeah.
God, we are figuring this thing out.
We're so smart.
Smarter than the Ohio legislators.
These dumb legislatures wasting our time.
Nice, Josh Williams. I'm sure that's money well spent.
Very specific ones and not every other one.
Just them.
Also,
Just
you know what's
them.
even greater? It just kind of is another story. We can move on. But the fact that people's tax dollars are going to them.
Yeah, going to everything. Just,
gosh.
Just robbed.
What else are they going to do? It ain't going to be something to help out there.
They're just sitting here. What does the state of Ohio really need right now? Is it better health, education? No. Stop planting flags. That's what our time and money is going to be wasted on.
They sit in their office and go, how can I pander to get reelected?
Josh Williams.
So I'm going to pander this way to get reelected so I can stay in power. Do I want to actually do something? No, because now that I have power, I just want to stay.
And they don't realize that most Ohio State fans are going to be like, "This is stupid.
This is dumb.
This is stupid. I know you're on our side, but you're being dumb."
Makes us look soft.
Yes,
is what it would do. The NFL. I don't know if they have voted on it or not. The NFL owners meeting. It's not an owners meeting week, but they are meeting today to approve the purchase by private equity money and ownership groups. To sell off a stake up to 10% of the ownership to an approved private equity firm by the NFL to infuse cash.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
Yeah. So investment
pretend
firm,
like we're five.
Okay.
Yep.
So a mommy and daddy when they fall in love.
Nice.
Keep going. Yes.
Gosh, you missed it yesterday, dude. I was talking about Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes and if he was going to retire, and he'd be like, they're not quarterback tight end anymore. And we weren't boyfriend-girlfriend anymore after that.
We weren't boyfriends and girlfriends anymore after that.
Boyfriends and girlfriends anymore after that. I'm like, I thought of you. I was like, anybody that listens to Righteous Gemstones would or watches, you guys would get that reference. You can sell 10% to a firm of the valuation of whatever your franchise is. So the Chiefs are $6 billion valuation by like a couple of months ago. So $6 billion.
600
they could
million.
sell it for $600 million up to 10%. You don't have to do 10%. You can do 5%.
To a
private equity firm that's an investment firm, and they will infuse you with cash. And there you go. You got your cash right there. Whether that is for paying money in a salary cap, paying guaranteed dollars that have to go in an escrow fund as soon as you guarantee somebody a contract.
So this would make you more liquid?
Make you more liquid. You got to pay $150 million in an escrow for this guy's got a $150 million guaranteed contract. That has to be put in an escrow. Every single dollar that's guaranteed.
Well, the Bengals are about to use this all in 1 year and then realize what happened when they give it all to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Honestly, they probably should if they want to sign some people. But also, one of the now Clark Hunt has already said that they're not going to be involved in doing this. They've got the four kids, 25% each. That's split. It's simple math here. So if you were to want to build, let's say, a $4 billion dome and entire economic area around that district with some hotels and some bars and some real estate, and maybe the whole project is $4 billion, and Star Bonds covers 70%, which would be $2.8 billion.
You said simple math before this, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah. I'm with Mick. I've started looking more. I've been looking at that bat for the past.
That would leave $1.2 billion left over, and I'm just saying if each of the four kids sold 5% of their ownership, that's $1.2 billion. Is what I'm saying.
So they could cover the cost.
The Chiefs are going
to met by the Star Bonds.
Yes, Chiefs have to cover the cost not met by the Star Bonds. The Star Bonds can cover 70%. After that,
but
the
could
Chiefs
they only give away 10%?
Well, they would. You can do that. That's $600 million.
Yeah, so they couldn't give away 20%.
That's
$1.2 billion.
That they could sell that. You can give. It's 10% to one firm. The most is 10% to one firm.
Oh wow!
So they could sell 5%
sell it all
to four different
to the MIC group.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So if each of the ownership
the zone, we could become part owners.
I don't have $150 million to.
No, but like $9, we could do this.
Well, honestly, that's what some people are talking about is being not exactly like the Green Bay Packers, but if it would be open to other people just to invest. Hey, you know what? Here's $50,000 to own a share of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, how many people would immediately that have it?
50,000? I don't know.
But that
7?
have it. That have it. I'm not saying us, but that have it. You know, that's great. You know, that's awesome. A lot of people are investing in these teams just to say they're like, oh man, I'm a 2% ownership in the Commanders.
Well, but not even that. Let's be real.
I don't know if that's bragging rights, but
the
still.
market
surely would make you money, right?
That's what I was going to say. The market.
Yeah.
The market.
Well,
I mean, what these teams go up every single year.
That's why the firms are investing is because you're going to get returns that are pretty damn good and probably better than some of the other things you're investing in with your clients because these things continue to go up.
Better than me investing in my
up
health because that's seen zero returns.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, if it comes to the star bonds on the Kansas side and the Chiefs having to come up with a portion of what would be a couple of $1 billion at least for a dome and a new stadium out there and the real estate development that they would be getting into and the purchasing of all of that. If you get to a point to where you go, you're going to have to invest in some of this with the private equity. I will just say the NFL approving it today makes it more likely the Chiefs could be involved on the Kansas side with the star bonds. Because the hang-up for me on the Kansas side was if you renovated Arrowhead, they're putting in $300 million. If you build new on the Kansas side, they're probably looking at $800-900 to $1 billion that they would have to come up with in some way, shape, or form, the Hunts. Makes a difference if now you can sell 2-3% of your team and you're still 25% or 24 point whatever percent equal percentage of the ownership group, and now you're liquid enough to be able to buy and invest in this that will get you a Super Bowl, that would get you Final Fours, that would maybe get you a college football national championship game. They're still looking for locations for college football national championship games.
Oh, I think if you got those first two, that championship game comes with it. Or I mean, there was at least a big old site, for those playoff games.
Would it be worth it then? Of like, well, we're not going to go down the private equity route. Maybe you do. If this is what it means as opposed to renovating Arrowhead Stadium.
I mean, it's other people's money, so.
Exactly, right? That's what I'm saying. Just go
it's not
do
my
it.
money.
That's why I said for the Royals, sign Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I don't know why you didn't. Take out private equity and sign Juan Soto. Private equity for that. Defer all the payments to 2075.
What a bad deal that is, right?
Oh, it's terrible.
How many World Series will the Mets win in 15 years?
Have you seen?
And we're not even sure on his age. He might be 41 when it's done. He might be 43. Might be 45.
Well, a couple of things here.
41.
Have you seen the Mets lineup outside of 1-2? So batting first, Francisco Lindor, awesome. Batting second, Juan Soto, insane. 3 through 9.
And they're losing right? Home run hitter, Pete Alonso.
Yeah, so it's 3 through 9.
I like calling him Whatsy. They're losing Whatsy, right? Whatsy Alonso?
You know what? I'm going to ignore him like they ignored Salvador Perez when Whatsy was at the plate at the home run derby.
Whatsy Alonso was hitting.
But that lineup is brutal. Having two great hitters is not going to be enough to elevate
baseball.
that. So I don't understand the Mets' thought process here necessarily outside of saying, we have Juan Soto and we stole him from the Yankees.
Yeah, there's
so you have that. And then the other part is, I think he's going to age well because he gets a lot of walks, got great bat-to-ball skills, all that stuff. And now there's a DH in the NL. Awesome. So he has a place to play. He's already horrendous defensively. He's not fast. And those same comments were made by guys like Miguel Cabrera and, Albert Pujols. Guys who took walks, great bat-to-ball skills. What happened their last 5 years before they were even 41? Like, I just don't understand this thought process. Again, if you're the player, I don't begrudge you at all. Get it. if someone's going to offer you $760 million, you're going to take it.
Well, you're not, because he got offered $760 by the Yankees.
Yes, sorry.
$765 was the tipping point by the Mets.
For sure. I mean, would you settle for $760 if somebody offered $765?
We were joking about that in the newsroom, and someone's like, "Would you really? Would $5 million be that big of a deal to you?" I'm like, "Well, yes, it would if it's my current salary and $5 million plus that." But when it's 760 to 765,
but the difference
it's all
was
relative.
15 versus 16 years.
Yeah,
it was
years.
16 for 760, 15 for 760. It doesn't matter. This is going to be an albatross in 8 years.
Money's not real, I don't think. In baseball,
when bills are due, it's very real. I just
when
in
it is
baseball,
in my
in
house,
in my world, money is very real. But man, I'd like to spend it on some of these collectibles in here at ADA Fundraising. It's very real in here. It can get real. Oh, it can get real.
Real.
Some of the things here, man. There's so much Super Bowl memorabilia. It's so nuts.
Well,
man.
from which Super Bowl?
I know, dude. I was joking about that in the first. I said, man, we were hanging up my son's tree and putting ornaments on him 3 months ago, because that's when we start decorating for Christmas. So we were getting the ornaments out, and one of the Super Bowl ornaments, and I go, which one is that from?
Yeah, because they do
And
Roman numerals.
And I had to catch myself. I'm like, dude, I just asked my son which Super Bowl championship.
I'm looking at this one and like, this is the most recent one, I think. I see 3 eyes.
3 eyes. Yes,
58.
It's got 3 eyes. It's the Super Bowl against the 49ers. His ornament, if you cared, was the one against the Eagles. So I figured that out.
Okay,
I'm like,
57.
Okay. Yeah, like, okay, that's the one it is. But I had to ask which of the 3 Super Bowl
Hopefully it wasn't
championships.
55. Did they make an ornament for losing a Super Bowl?
They did not.
Or you had it's a Buccaneers ornament is what it is.
That's what it was. It's just the Buccaneers and Chiefs. We don't have the final score. It's just that was the match.
That would be a fun tree, though, if you had 58 different ornaments from the winners of all the Super Bowls. Work on that. Work on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But that would be fun for somebody else to do. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, folks, if you're out there, look, man, it's getting colder, and some snow. Holmes, Dylan Michaels, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us here at ADA Fundraising. They've got their doors open today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. And on Saturday, Brady Cook will be here signing autographs at 3 o'clock. You can go shopmosports.com. Go to shopmosports.com, and you can get your tickets there or at the door the day of the signing, which is coming up on Saturday. Brady Cook will be here as he gets set for the Music City Bowl against the Iowa Hawkeyes. I believe the over-under in that game is 17.5 is what that's been listed as. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I'm just guessing. That's what I would set it at. But that's the Music City Bowl coming
I'd take
up.
the over.
Okay, that's
You know,
fine.
I'll take the over. Although, what was the Mizzou Ohio State game last year? Wasn't that 17?
It was low scoring.
14-3, I think, wasn't it?
Sure. I just remember they won. That's all I remember.
Those Iowa game lines get lower and lower, and I'm like, surely they can't, and they do. They go under.
Well, 14-3 last year, Mizzou Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
that really was the final.
So the under would have hit last year. Yeah,
I would hope. Unless it was 17.5. Yes, the under hit. It was 17.5. It was not 17.5.
Currently set at
but even if it was
40.5 points is the over/under for Mizzou Iowa Music City Bowl.
I'll take the under.
I would too, I think.
here's my question about the Chiefs and whether they – and we'll talk more about this on Friday. But it's always like, well, the Chiefs are going to win, but they're not going to cover. And I wonder if Vegas is adjusting to the point that they know it's 9 in a row and people are not betting for the Chiefs to cover. So this line, if the Chiefs had covered, all right, if the Chiefs have covered a few of these games and they're 11-1, 12-1, and they're getting ready to play a Cleveland team that has 3 wins, that line wouldn't be 4.
Is that what it is?
So it's gone from 6.5 to 4. So I think it's getting getting close enough to the point to where you're like, okay, almost by simply winning, they're going to end up covering some of these games because it's starting to adjust to the fact that they're not covering and people are going, it's what the Chiefs are going to do. They're going to win and not cover. So I will take Chiefs money line, especially when it gets better, because the closer the odds, then the better the odds are that you get for the money line. So now it's down to 4. I do wonder if you get into the point to where the Chiefs finally covered, because if it starts at 6.5, well, yeah, the Chiefs aren't going to cover. What if that thing's 2.5 a kick? You know what I mean? And they win by 3. It's like, they covered. Yeah, because people finally said, no, I'm going to go the other way, and I'm just going to pound the other team and take the points against the Chiefs because they're not covering. But you start to wonder as it gets later on in the year that adjustment starts to be made. They open up at 6.5 and it moves quickly.
Their last 5 games.
Yeah, what were the
they've won by 2. They've won by 2.
Mm-hmm.
They've won by 3.
Uh-huh.
They've lost by 9.
Uh-huh.
They won by 2.
That's right.
So
even if those lines were 2.5 and 3.5, they still wouldn't.
They still wouldn't have. They would have covered 1 if it was 2.5.
Yeah.
That was the Panthers game.
I think they probably changed it. My guess would be during the Panthers and the Raiders weeks here, to where following that loss, they come back and they're still barely beating the dregs of the NFL. I think that's when it maybe started to change, or at least it should have started to change.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it'll get to a point to where you go, they're gonna cover by default. They're gonna win 24-17. And it's like, well, it was still a 1-score game. They just finally covered.
I mean, if you put the Chiefs at +1 this week, I think they'll cover.
Guarantee it. Can somebody please bet them down?
Yes.
To
1+1.
Well, that might be a push.
So they'll lose.
+1. They would have to if they
They
win.
would have to lose.
Oh, plus.
Yeah, +1.
-1. Sorry, I apologize.
+1.
I thought you were saying
said.
-1.
Yeah, he said if they're +1 and they win, he guaranteed.
No, that's me. I'm a dumbass.
They would cover that spread. They'd be fine.
I thought you were saying 1. I was trying to be even a smart aleck, but I made myself
that would be
look
a dumb
like
aleck. What you ended up being there. Mick Schaefer is with us. Mick, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Sterling and I did. In the last 80 minutes of basketball, especially 60 minutes of basketball for Missouri, so halftime against Cal, when they were trailing, and then they have that great second half against Cal, amazing first half against Kansas, finish off the game, hold on. For you, what's that done for expectations and how good this Missouri team can be moving forward?
Knowing Mizzou fans, it shot expectations through the roof.
National
Sterling's like Final Four or bust this year, aren't you?
Oh, for Missouri basketball?
Yeah.
No. I'm thrilled because I was at the game. That was the second greatest sporting event I've been at in my entire life. As I know KU fans are probably laughing, going, ha, ha, ha. Well, that was cool. You have to admit that was so fun. Missouri fans did not win a single game in the SEC the year prior. It was like KU football going 0-12 and then storming the field against, what was it, Howard? Who did they play in football that one year when they stormed the field after they beat an FCS school?
It wasn't Howard. I want to say, was it Rhode Island they beat? Something like
they
that.
They stormed, but like, that was, again.
I remember they stormed against West Virginia once.
Yeah, but when they make fun of Missouri for storming the court, it's like, okay, well, we beat the number 1 team in the nation at home.
Yeah.
We didn't storm. Either way, point remains, like, I don't think Missouri's necessarily a great team now that they beat Kansas, because that was –
it's basketball. It's one-off. It's December.
And
the SEC could be a bear this year.
It's going to be. Although I will say I'm more bullish based on how Missouri played, and it wasn't just fluky. It wasn't just Missouri hit a lot of threes. Missouri is not a three-point shooting team. I do think it was a good matchup against Kansas because Kansas can't shoot threes, and Missouri cannot guard the three-point line. So that behooved Missouri in this game. I don't know what my expectations are. I think they've definitely changed to Missouri should make the tournament. But as far as making the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or a deep run, I think that's I need to see a lot more.
Yeah. I don't know if should make the tournament, if I'm there yet. Like I said, it is a one-off. They proved they could, did what Creighton did in the same week. That's the only bad thing for Mizzou fans. Like you almost you wanted that Creighton loss not to happen. You wanted them to come in undefeated, and you're the only team to beat them. But I got to see more. And I got to see them against SEC competition because, I mean, look, they weren't a great team when they lose to Jackson State in the non-con last year, but they had amassed some wins, right? And then they got to the conference play, and the bottom just fell out.
Yeah.
And like I said, this could be the best conference in the country this year, the SEC in basketball. And these games against teams that you figure, okay, we got a shot against, or you should beat, those might have changed.
I guess for me, when I'm at with Missouri, is this team is so much more improved talent-wise. Tamar Bates looks like a legitimate alpha, right? Anthony Robinson is and I've actually seen just rumblings about this. He might be a NBA prospect because of the athleticism, the 3-and-D type, just what he brings to the table defensively, as well as being able to create his own shot. Josh Gray, if he plays like that against Kansas, there's no size that's going to overwhelm this Missouri team. Again, I don't know what it looks like depth-wise, but this was the best rotation Dennis Gates has put out all season long. Again, I think this team is more talented. I'm with you to an extent because when you see a team not win a single SEC game, we have right to be a little bit show me more in the show me state. But that KU game did show me a lot, and I think that Cal game showed me a lot as well. They don't shoot threes, but Mark Mitchell gets to the line as good as almost anyone in the entire country. They will shoot free throws. They will rebound to an extent better than the previous years, and defense looks much improved, even though they did give up 93 to Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's
don't
some
lose
news.
to Long Island.
Yeah, there's some news.
They didn't this year.
On the.
Aren't they playing them coming up?
Yeah, Rhode Island. I think it's is it
no,
Long Island?
Brooklyn.
It's Long Island.
LIU Brooklyn.
Yeah, you're right. They have not lost to them yet because they play them in the future.
That's exactly right. There is news for Kansas State too, and a season that hasn't necessarily been great. Achor has been dismissed from the basketball team. A guy who was averaging 7 points per game. The Samford transfer dropped 21 points against Arkansas Pine Bluff, only played 5 minutes against St. John's. He was a reserve player, playing about 13 minutes per game. That comes from Jeff Goodman at the Field of 68, reporting that he has been dismissed from the team. And he says it sounds like a conduct detrimental to the team type of thing that ultimately had Jerome Tang deciding to part ways. So one of their role-playing big men in 6'9", 230-pound Achor is no longer with the team. That's not nearly the impact of Naquan Tomlin a year ago, but it is back-to-back years that it has happened with somebody on the team that they've had to move on from in the middle of the year. Now he's actually playing for them this year, and I think it showed flashes at times, obviously dropping 21 points against Arkansas Pine Bluff in just 24 minutes. But whatever's happened behind the scenes, don't know. But it apparently happened pretty quickly.
Big week for K-State here because you have two teams you could beat, two teams that could beat you, though, in Drake and Wichita State. A couple of mid-majors you're playing, one of them here in Kansas City.
Yep, starting next Tuesday when they play Drake here in Kansas City. And Drake at least will be a quad 2 win. At the very minimum, that's if you beat Drake, that's a very
it's
minimum.
Northwest Missouri State, by the way. He brought some dudes up from Maryville, and they can play at this level too.
Killing it. I don't know. I feel like there have been a lot of people saying Ben McCollum can coach, but maybe those people were dumb.
I need to see another decade or so.
Yeah, and wrong. But you're right. It's a couple of big games for Kansas State, Drake, and Wichita State before starting the Big 12 road. With St. John's, Drake, and Wichita State, they would have played 3 games in 29 days. You could figure some things out behind the scenes, all right, in practice and getting better there. Yeah, because they played St. John's, Drake, and Wichita State, the only teams they're playing.
A span of 29 days?
Dating back to December 1st. And then they play Cincinnati on December 30th. So 28 days, 29 days between just 3 games there. Plenty of time to get better in practice and to figure some things out. But now you're going to be doing it without one of your rotational big men. Who has been dismissed from the team. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone hanging out at ADA Fundraising next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels, Mick Schaefer. We're hanging out at ADA Fundraising. Fantastic spot, one of our favorite remotes we do every year. 4 days out of the year, they open up their doors. Today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 o'clock on Saturday. Brady Cook will be here signing autographs. Go to shopmosports.com to get tickets. You can also get tickets at the door as well. And tons and tons of really, really awesome stuff here that we always spend the break going and checking out to see what would we where would I put that in my basement? Where would I put that in my basement? Did you hear my idea about my gift for my wife?
You're so thoughtful.
I know.
I heard it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy her a George Brett autograph bat for Christmas. And
display it where you both can see it.
Right, down in the man cave where we both can enjoy it.
Will they throw in the cutoff as well, like for a 2-for-1? Because then you could really sell the misses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I wish I had a husband like you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Isn't that thought? That's how many wives out there would love to get that gift? All right,
all the wives.
Definitely mine.
Yeah.
Growing up a huge Kentucky basketball fan, would love to get a George Brett autograph bat. Let me tell you about that, honey. He probably knows that WKU exists, right? I mean, there's the connection right there.
When it came to sports and growing up, your wife knew about them.
she played them.
Yeah, she's played some sports.
She was playing sports, and she might have known a guy named Brett before in life. Who knows?
Ex-boyfriend, I think.
Wow. I doubt she didn't have any boyfriends, Mick.
That's right.
She was not boyfriends, girlfriends with anybody until we met, and then we were boyfriend, girlfriend. Then I proposed, and then we weren't boyfriend, girlfriend no more. We were fiance. This is a little bone to pick with the news around Randy Moss. So Randy Moss is battling a health issue, which is why he's not with Monday Night Countdown and ESPN right now. So there are some things in the media that we oftentimes don't help ourselves in the commentary around the issues with the media these days. And the Moss family has very clearly gone out of their way to not say what the issue is that he's battling right now. But it's something serious that he's walked away, and the guys at Monday Night Countdown our prayers are with you, Randy, as you go through this battle. Brett Favre tweets out this morning, prayers for Randy Moss. Just found out that he's battling liver cancer, and, it's awful and everything. And then Thaddeus Moss, Randy's son, replies and says, this is not true. It's not what he's battling. We'll let people know eventually, but that's not what's going on. So Brett Favre retweets that. Doesn't erase the tweet, but retweets the fact that that's not true. Larry Fitzgerald Sr., who's a reporter, an actual reporter. Larry Fitzgerald's dad, a reporter, reports that Randy Moss is battling liver cancer. Thaddeus Moss, his son. That's not true. That's not what's going on. It's just a point that why does anybody have to report it? Why? Their family clearly is going out of their way to not say what's happening. If he wants it known, he'll let people know.
I mean, you talk yourself into like public figure and, people have the right to know and all that, but even if you do, you can be like, you know what, I can sit this one out. I don't have to be first on it. Why? I don't have to be right. I don't have to cover it, right?
What do I gain by this?
No.
Oh, well, he's suffering liver cancer. The first one to have it was Larry Fitzgerald Sr. No, I think Randy Moss was the first one to know about it, and he's in the media, and he did not let people know.
Yeah.
It bothered. That one bothered me. Like Brett Favre just being a guy who's tweeting. Okay, it happens.
Yeah, he's had a good 24 hours on Twitter.
Mark Gastineau not happy with
that,
Brett Favre. Yeah. That's why I said T.J. Watt broke Gastineau's record. So Brett Favre said, I just fell. I didn't want to get hit by him. Come out to ADA today through Saturday.